Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 151. I am your host, back down in the basement with my co-host and teenage son, Jack, over there typing furiously.
Hello.
How are you?
I hate that belt.
You hate that belt. Are you saving that talk for later, though, aren't you?
I might put in my news and later just to be really
Extra annoyed
angry
about
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm considering it.
Well, while we're bantering, I thought we'd banter about the interesting weather we've had, because in my 40 whatever years on this planet, I have never had things shut down for air quality problems, but
Yeah, thankfully it rained a bit the one day.
it did. Depending where you're listening, we're having some wildfire problems in Canada, in Quebec, which is the province beside us, and then in northern Ontario, the province we live in but above us. Fires everywhere. So this week there were 3 days where, did you notice on the way to school it smelled like campfire, basically, right?
People kept saying that. I didn't notice. I think
Oh
because
my
a
God.
couple times I bike, so I don't really
I
have
noticed
time to
it.
smell much. And then when I walked, I don't think I noticed either.
He means because his bike ride is so short, because his school is
Yeah,
like
literally
a
it
2
takes
minute
me like
bike
I
ride.
remember one time I listened to Undisputed Era theme on my way, and I was biking, and that's like about just under 3 minutes, like 2 minutes 50 seconds. That's how long it took me to get to the bike racks.
Right.
So like if I bike really fast, it's like just under 3 minutes.
Yes, it's quick. So
Yeah.
we had just terrible air quality. So
Yeah.
like your brother's soccer practice and game was canceled Tuesday
I
and
know
Thursday.
rugby games for the school were
Rugby
canceled.
games were canceled. Outdoor recess was canceled for elementary kids here.
Chumps.
So yeah, but I think it's been, as of yesterday, it was sort of called off the air quality advisory, so things seem to be somewhat back to normal. So I mean,
I will say this though, we didn't start the fire.
the quality that is true. The quality of the air in our area, I guess, isn't as important as the fire stopping. So hopefully, I haven't checked, but hopefully that's the case. We did get a bit of rain.
Spreading to the U.S. too.
The smoke was for sure. New York was awful.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I forget what day it was. I think New York had the worst air quality in the world for that day because of Canada.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Our fault.
Yeah,
Our bad.
I hear a lot about that in the morning because I have science.
Oh, right. I bet you would, yes.
Yeah.
And then, so we're recording a bit earlier today because one of my dearest...
Bit later.
Bit later in the day.
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess.
actually, we usually probably like this. I think at around this time we would be like halfway through or something.
True. But one of my oldest, dearest friends, sort of miscommunication. I thought he was coming tomorrow. He thought he was coming today. So he came today with his dog, and we just hung out for a little bit, had an impromptu barbecue outside. It was quite nice.
Cat was not thrilled.
The cat was not thrilled that a dog was here, but they only interacted. We were saying it was like every scene in a prison scene in a movie where one person's talking to the other person through the glass, just like on NXT actually with Tony D'Angelo and Stax right now. So yeah, they were not too thrilled, but yeah, it was nice to see him because, well, I've seen him twice in the last week and a bit, right? Because we went to a comedy show last Friday, so it was good to see him, hang out with him outside for a bit. So we're down here now on Saturday afternoon, and I actually did watch half of almost maybe Against All Odds, the Impact show that was offered last night. So I watched
with some interesting results.
I watched the dog collar match with Killer Kelly and Masha. That was pretty good for
Best stipulation ever. Yeah.
The tag team match with the Good Hands and ABC was good, I thought. And then I saw Eddie Edwards and Kaz, which was fine, but
I don't think that'll ever be bad.
it's nothing super current or interesting, right? But yeah, so I've checked out a little bit of that, but
yeah.
We'll do all our usual stuff. I don't think there's anything special this week. We'll talk about Dynamite for sure. We'll do some trivia. We'll talk about NXT. We'll talk about Impact. You'll maybe highlight and lowlight some main roster stuff. Do you have a figure update today? I didn't ask ahead of time.
No. There's not really much.
So yeah, it's because there were no pay-per-views to review, and I haven't finished Against All Odds. And plus, I don't know how many listeners care about me covering Impact minor pay-per-views. If you do care, send us a message on
something you really want to hear.
Email or Instagram and say, listen, I need you to cover all the Impact stuff, and I would probably find a way,
I want to know what happened on Against All Odds.
Because I used to do solo missions, right, for Impact and ROH.
Yeah, but now it's not even worthy of that.
No, it's been okay some weeks. It's definitely not my favorite show, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Anything else exciting for you this week in our banter section?
No.
Nothing exciting happened at school this week?
No, I went to 6 Walmarts the one day, but I didn't get
Oh,
anything.
yeah, you and Mom took off and did a whole bunch of figure hunting, I guess, but you found nothing? Some Toys R Us and some Walmarts?
Yeah, 1 Toys R Us and 6 Walmarts. Because that's how I do.
And I imagine there was bubble tea along the way somewhere?
Mom got one before she ate, and then she regretted
it. Nice.
Yeah.
But you didn't come home with anything, which was weird for you.
Partially because nothing amazing, and then also because I want a belt.
Right, you're saving your money for
the most part.
Pointless things like replica belts, which got made fun of where? By Fandango, Dirty Dango.
Oh yeah,
You saw that promo. We'll get to that. But anyways, I don't know. We should probably talk about wrestling, you think?
probably.
All right, so wrap up the banter, move into our first segment, which is where we'll take a look at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. All right, the ratings this week, we've got NXT averaged 615,000 viewers, up a tiny bit, 1.3% from last week, earned a 0.17 in the key demographic, exactly the same as last week. And I did pull one of their not so interesting stats for you.
It's the most interesting thing in the week.
Largest audience total for the show since April 25th. So not even 2 months.
Okay, I thought it meant last year. I was like,
Who thinks that these tiny little stretches of time are meaningful? Like, I don't get why they keep doing this, but it's now just a running joke for me.
It's the biggest rating since
the last time they did ratings.
Since the last episode of Dynamite.
And Dynamite averaged 903,000 viewers, down 2.2%, but picked up a lot in the key demographic, 0.33 this week, up 13.8%. It's the second largest audience total and demo rating of 2023.
Woo!
So that's a little more meaningful.
Yeah,
at least we're talking 6 months.
When it's broad like that, it sounds better.
It does sound better than, like, it feels like you're just finding the point in time where you can say second largest or largest, whether it's like 2 days away or a month away. But anyways, what do you have?
So the biggest news for the week, and probably the most interesting thing to us, was the first Forbidden Door announcements.
Oh my God, yes. You texted me this while I was working, and I was very excited.
Yeah, so it was weird. So, like, at first I saw, like, graphics floating around, and they were clearly, like, they didn't look real to me. So I was like, oh yeah, these will probably happen, but
in the AI era.
I was waiting for AEW to confirm it, so then I could be like, woohoo!
And indeed.
And then so they confirmed it. So for Forbidden Door in Toronto,
where we will be.
We're gonna be in attendance. We're going. We got Kazuchika Okada versus Bryan Danielson in the highly anticipated Kenny Omega Will Ospreay rematch.
Unbelievable!
For the IWGP US title.
Your mother had to listen to me try and explain, like, I know you don't like wrestling, but like, these are a couple dream matches, especially for us. Ospreay Omega, getting to see that live is crazy, right?
Yeah.
So,
because their first match was awesome.
I was telling your mother I would pay what we paid for those tickets just for those 2 matches, and the rest are like 6 matches I don't care about at all.
Yeah, it's already like a show you got to go to.
Yeah,
so like Okada versus Danielson is like
awesome
dream match upon dream matches, and then Omega Ospreay is like you kind of had to go back to the well. I think I'm super happy because not only is that like a huge, like, that's probably the most hype match. For me, like, Okada versus Danielson's great, but
I think
I'm all about Omega Ospreay.
Does it have to be the main event? Regardless of what title matches are on there?
I wouldn't not do that.
I agree.
Or you open with that, actually, but then that puts everyone else into bad spots. I don't know. I feel like you could bookend with these though.
Yeah, you could.
I don't know, but like for Omega Ospreay, like it's the best of both worlds or all worlds for me, because like obviously seeing Omega's great, good Canadian boy, and then I really want to see Ospreay again after his match last year's Forbidden Door with Cassie was great.
That was our match of the night, I think, right?
I think so.
Which I was surprised by, to be honest.
And I've liked everything he's done since. Like, I liked his
he's great
trios exploits in the tournament with Aussie Open, and then he had that match with Dax.
Yep.
And he obviously the Wrestle Kingdom match. Like, so I've been really enjoying Ospreay ever since like the Forbidden Door period last year. So I just really wanted to see him in any capacity, and this is obviously probably the best thing you could put him in. So
for sure, for me,
I'm super happy about this.
Me too.
It already this already looks better than last year, because last year like they had some like obviously Cassie versus Ospreay was awesome, but that never looked like amazing to me. Like, I think the match to me that like looked amazing on paper was the Okada Switchblade Cole Hangman 4-way, and that was great, but that was also when Cole got injured.
Yep.
So like I don't think anything on last year's show looked this good. And if they're going to top this up, like, there's rumors of Punk versus Kenta, which would be kind of cool. As much as I don't want to see Punk,
yeah,
I do kind of like that idea. So like this already looks way better than last year. And
Honestly,
they haven't confirmed anything else
I'm
yet.
looking at the card from last year, and yeah, there's
a lot of random ones.
there
right?
was, and you did get Claudio Zack Sabre, which is cool.
That was cool. That was Claudio's debut.
I'm not a big Tanahashi guy, so Mox
I don't
Tanahashi
remember loving
doesn't-
Moxley Tanahashi either. Like, it was solid, but I
Yeah.
don't remember liking it a ton.
But these two matches already booked, in my opinion, are much bigger than anything they booked last year, and we loved the show last year. So
yeah, I thought the matches were great last year, but this is so much better.
yeah,
It's
we're
insane.
pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
So that is great news for
That's why
us.
you got to be going to Forbidden Door.
And speaking of stuff happening in Canada, as of Wednesday, I had that AEW is in less than 2 weeks for Collision, right? And that Canada, we don't even know where we can watch it. But apparently you were telling me now it is confirmed that TSN Plus, which I'm not sure we have. And I'm confused because we have a pretty comprehensive cable package with like 5 or 6 TSN channels. And I checked yesterday and I didn't see TSN Plus on there. So I don't even know what TSN Plus is. And we're going to have to find it, or we're going to have to watch, if we do decide to watch, which we'll probably watch the first few at least, right? May have to watch through Nefarious Means, unfortunately.
Which I don't love, because that's part of the reason I don't watch Rampage, is because it's...
Right.
It's like that, like, Rampage is... It's half the time, I guess not half, but partially the time, partially the cards, and then also just, like, if it was easier to watch, then I would watch it more likely, at least, right? If it's not, like, a whole hassle, like, we have to, like, airplay a thing off of a site and like ads and stuff, like that just makes me want to watch it less, right? Dynamite, it's like it's easy, it's there, it's at a good time, it's on a good day, like, so hopefully Collision is easy to access, because if it's not, then like obviously we will check it out the first time or two, but then it's gonna like it's not gonna entice me much,
right? So yeah, like any further barrier to watching it is gonna be harmful to us, right?
It's just gonna keep me out more.
Exactly, I agree. So we'll see.
Then they're gonna have to really draw me in. It's just like, I don't know, I want to like be caught up, but you know, if it's hard, then
I agree. We'll figure it out. We'll definitely watch the first one or two. We're still thinking about going to the one in Hamilton. If the prices plummet, I'll probably pick a couple up for that, but we'll see. What else you got?
Seth Rollins reportedly going to defend the World Heavyweight Championship of the new lineage.
Where?
Against Balor at Money in the Bank.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Braun Breaker.
No, well, there's that too.
That's happening.
Apparently,
too, right?
That's because they want NXT to be kind of a third brand now.
Yes. Feels like there's people. We'll talk about it. There's people
like
coming.
It was before they
forth.
put it in 2.0, but
correct.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And that was without main roster people coming down.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's cool because Money in the Bank's in London. So I mean, obviously he's Irish, but close enough.
Wow.
And like, well, he's European is the point.
Yes.
And they seem to have good chemistry, like pretty much every time.
They do.
So
they've
got a good history. Like that's cool. I would like that.
Yeah, it should be good.
He already defended against Priest, so.
More on Canadian stuff is Dave Meltzer. We already mentioned Collision tickets, and thinking we're probably going to be able to get some cheap for the Hamilton show. So Meltzer's saying that the ticket sales for Collision are bad, and that Punk's been moving tickets in Chicago, but not really anywhere else.
You know why? Because Chicago's full of dummies. Yeah.
And he said specifically not in Toronto, which is not a good sign because Toronto is one of the, he said, quote, greatest markets in North America.
Right? Like Forbidden Door. Right? That's got to be like.
So Hamilton's like another hour-ish away from Toronto. So that's even, we're guessing for us, we can get there in like an hour and 20 minutes. So if tickets really bottom out, we may just rip out there and watch a live. Well, I guess it's a recording of Collision because it's recording on like a Thursday, which is interesting. But anyways, so yeah, the sales are not going great, and we'll see. Hopefully this.
To me, a show doesn't look great when you're taping it, and it's supposed to be like this big new thing. Like Rampage, I guess I get it 'cause it's just an extra hour thing, but like Collision's like a second Dynamite kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're taping that doesn't look as good to me.
I would agree, but we'll see what happens. I guess
Dynamite's never taped.
No.
So with the reported return to India for WWE in September, they reportedly want to push Indusher strong.
Of course.
So they've been getting some squash matches, and they beat up Cedric and Shelton Benjamin as well.
They're not terrible. Like they're not ever going to be my favorite tag team.
It's cheap to push them just because you're going back.
Yeah, of course. But
like, and I don't know, they're not. I don't know. It's just interesting, I guess, but it's kind of weird.
I do have time for monster teams. Like there's a place for them. Even like we're saying Gates of Agony and AOP.
AOP were cool though.
They were cool. They weren't when they started.
No, but I love a good the Super Collider was always sweet. Like they were solid back in the day.
They used them perfectly basically, and then they had what's his face Ellering with them, which I thought helped
but
too.
Then they axed that, and Drake Maverick started pissing himself.
Right. So that got less good. What else do I have here? According to Fightful, WWE is planning, as you're saying, to use the free agent status to allow specifically in this case, Corbin and Mustafa Ali, who showed up on NXT this week. So for Corbin, they're hoping to apparently refresh his character. And then for Ali, it's more like a lot of NXT talent have expressed interest in working with him because he's really good. And he was like, sure, I'll go down there and work with some people,
Ollie's
which is great.
there.
Right. So yeah, they I'll talk about them a little bit on NXT again when we get to Highspots and Restholds, but apparently, yeah, they're hoping to maybe rehab Corbin into something else. I don't know, but we'll see.
So.
I'll say it now.
That's smart,
Did you happen to see his ring gear this week? Wow. I'm like that's the and you know me, I don't normally care or notice, but that's some awful. Like it looked like
it looked like his workout gear.
It looked like what
like he's just going to the performance center and then he's like, oh, right. I have a match tonight.
Like training gear or worse than because Kevin Owens doesn't have great gear, obviously, right?
No,
but it's
Kevin
like a
Owens,
step back from that.
Okay, but Kevin Owens at least it looks like
Even
he's gonna wrestle because he's got he's got shorts similar like kind of a la Samoa Joe or Brock Lesnar, and it's like and he's got like knee pads and kick pads. Like say what you want about his like kind of like lack of attire, but like I would disagree. I say like obviously it is more laid back, but his at least still looks like a wrestling attire. So I wouldn't even bash KO on that.
Whereas Corbin, it looked like he forgot his gear, and that's
he could
what was
wear
in
that
his
on
bag.
a street and look like a normal person.
He looked brutal.
It literally looked like, I think in the 2K23 tutorial because you play as Woods, and so he's in like workout year 2, and I think you face Corbin, and he looks pretty much like that.
It was bad.
He wore that on SmackDown too when he lost to Butch.
To sort of re-debut on NXT in that gear, and again, I don't normally notice or care. I noticed and cared.
I would say like it is noticeable, but also because it's like it's not even like that it's a bad ring gear, it's like lack thereof.
Yeah.
Honestly,
it looks like he lost his gear, and that's what was in his gym bag, so he threw it on.
Yeah.
For TV.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's his character.
Mm-hmm.
So we also have Jerry Lynn and Stokely Hathaway have been added as on-screen authority figures for ROH.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jerry Lynn,
like, kind of face and heel kind of deal.
Yeah, Stokely, I'm not shocked, but
Stokely, I feel like that could work.
Yeah, it could. He's great. He's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And the firm's kind of done.
And a guy that we really like on FNS Wrestling is teased to return with putting things out on Twitter, and that is Santana, right? Half of Proud and Powerful.
Or if that's still a thing, I don't know.
I don't think so since they had a falling out. But
although it's been a year, so I would hope something's like.
He suffered a knee injury at Blood and Guts in late June of 2022, right? So all he tweeted was 6'9", which was yesterday. Did he show up on Rampage? I haven't heard.
I haven't heard anything.
Me either.
So I'm gonna go with no.
But the thought was he was teasing his return, and we think he's awesome. And even I was saying like this guy could have a singles run as far as I'm concerned.
Maybe it's reversed, and it's like maybe he's one of those weirdos who does like
not
he's one of those
September
weirdos
6th.
Who does this the day month wrong, which I hate.
But. Well, I get how it's supposed to be from smallest unit to largest unit. I just don't do that because that makes sense. Day, month, year.
I guess, but like.
Yeah, but anyways, I don't do it that way.
I would never.
What else you got? I got 2 more.
Speaking of Collision, as we were talking about, first main event got announced, which is what people like to dub CMFTR, which I think is such a horrible name. Versus Samoa Joe and Bullet Club Gold.
Should be a cool match.
That'll be cool.
But it's funny, your hatred for Punk runs so deep now that you're like you think less of FTR for being affiliated.
I do think of less of FTR. And I would just like I remember when they were still in the Pinnacle. MJFTR is a good name, okay? Because that works.
Because there's an F that's shared.
Exactly.
Yes.
CMFTR is just putting a bunch of letters together. That doesn't make it like what is FTR now Chicago made? Is that what that's supposed to imply? Like that's what I hate. But yeah, I think less of them now, and
match should be good.
It should be solid as long as Punk's not wrestling most of it.
Wow. I mean, he can still wrestle.
He can wrestle.
I don't think he's like Daniel Bryan or anything, but he's good.
No, because Danielson will actually put people over.
He will.
And he didn't cause a backstage fuss.
And is there to get along.
And he's actually helping creative. What do you know?
Crazy.
But yeah, so that's a solid main event. Good for Bullet Club, I guess, getting in the first main event there.
Yeah, I suppose
White's on a main event spree because he's got like
a
couple Dynamite main events in the last 3 weeks, and now he's getting the Collision. That's not bad.
Speaking of CM Punk, there's rumors of him and Kenta, right? The battle of the GTS at Forbidden Door, according to Fightful. And Kenta seemed possibly to replying in a tweet that said, "Oh hell no, tell Tony Khan give me the bag."
What does that mean?
Like money, pay me lots of money.
For that.
I think is basically
I would
what it
put Kenta against like Orange Cassidy or something.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Yeah, and I still think we're gonna get Saber somehow.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if Ishii...
Probably. He's been on ROH a lot, actually.
Ishii kind of already did a North American run, so I don't know about him. Tanahashi, I don't care.
Ishii's kind of... I don't really know if I want that. He's just kind of like old now.
Yes. He's
I
still
don't know.
cool.
I
but
could see Shibata going
or
on because
Suzuki,
he's an
I don't
ROH
know.
champ.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. You have to put someone against Cassidy.
I would think so
I
because
don't
he's
know
been
who.
wrestling
Like, I'm
nonstop.
not too up on New Japan, but
Me
I
either.
don't know. You could put like, I think the ideal guy for Cassidy, and I'm not a huge fan of him because I just haven't
Takahashi?
seen a lot of him. Is I would put Finley. I was saying,
Yeah,
because he's the new Bullet Club guy.
he is.
He's got like solid prominence, so like give him a good showing for like a lot of people, and
Mhm.
obviously Cassidy has to win that, but I feel like Finley would work because he's kind of the proto Jay White now.
He is. It could work.
But
Do
yeah.
you have anything else? I got one more.
Is it the women's tag thing?
Nope. All
Okay.
you.
I
think I skipped over that one somehow. Go ahead.
Okay, so so the women's tag titles are getting unified. The NXT and the WWE ones. I think in a couple weeks it'll be Dawn and Nalba Fire versus the MMA people.
Makes sense. There's just not
Yeah,
enough.
you
And
just-
that
you don't
that
need
was
two
my
titles.
last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just not enough
I think
teams.
you had the
right?
rumors, right? And then I saw it confirmed.
Yeah,
saw the
so
graphic.
it was the rumor was with Better Wrestling Experience, who apparently one of my notes says this guy has been right about stuff like this before. So I guess I don't know, was again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Last one I had was Cody versus Lesnar 3. Was rumored to have a stipulation, but a dog collar pitch was turned down.
I did.
So what do you think it is?
What would Cody? What's the most spectacular thing Cody could do to draw the most attention? That's what you have to ask yourself. Can we
Well,
have exploding things?
There's one thing. It's kind of fitting to Cody if you think about it.
Ladders?
No. Why ladder?
I don't know. What's fitting to
No.
Cody?
Like him and his family, kind of.
Plumbing? Son of a
No.
plumber? Wasn't that part of
No,
that?
That was Dusty. No, but it is related to Dusty actually.
I don't know. What is it?
It's a Texas bull rope.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Well,
Not a
that's
fan
the
of that
rumor
either,
thing.
really.
It's basically a strap match.
Although I did go back and watch Rhodes Lesnar from whatever that pay-per-view was.
Saudi.
Yeah, and that was a good match, no doubt about it. I quite enjoyed that match, but bull rope matches never my
The
favorite.
Torn Pet Cody figure has a bull rope, so
Awesome.
I'll get that now.
So it's very fitting, I guess. All right, I guess that's it for news and rumors, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go into our in-depth review that we do every week, and that's taking a look at this past week's episode of AEW Dynamite. All right, sir, talk about Dynamite
And
to
we
me.
kick off with the anticipated match for us, I guess. The most
Definitely for me.
anticipated match. Orange Cassidy defending the International Championship, which is pretty typical.
Yeah, and
against-
based off of the match from the pay-per-view where they were the final two guys in the Battle Royal, and it was really fun the last few minutes of it.
Yeah, Cassidy versus Swerve Strickland.
Correct.
That guy we like from TV.
Like him, he is so cool, man, and you'll hear me say it a lot, but he is cool.
Mm-hmm.
He, to me, could be like top heel in your company cool. Like if you're not hung up on size and whatever, he is awesome.
If they gave him a chance to be world champion, I think it would work.
I think 100% it could.
Yeah, they just need to.
Because I remember we
talked.
talked about doing where we make our own like fantasy federation, and I did that document, and he's one of my
If
main
he
eventers.
would have stuck around, he could have been NXT champion easily. If they
For
kept
sure.
it black and gold too,
Easily.
If he stuck around in black, or if he came in to NXT sooner, he probably could have been champion someday.
He's awesome.
I remember his North American title reign was super disappointing. 'Cause remember he didn't defend it until the night he lost it.
It wasn't great.
Like,
And we had high hopes.
Yeah, because I was super happy when he just randomly won the title because he did one of those classic like later in the show challenges. I was like, oh, they're gonna feed him to Bronson Reed, and he just won the match.
I know. Yeah.
That was so weird. So yeah, match now. So there's like a lazy version of the octopus stretch from Cassie. He was like, he had him in the octopus stretch, and he was like doing like he put it like his face on his hand or whatever, like just resting on there. Then he lowbird Swerve out of the ring, but he did like that thing where he like handsprings off the apron and lands on his feet on the outside.
That's cool. I think the camera angle wasn't the best for that, if I remember.
He usually does it on the
did
side with the ramp,
right.
but he didn't. But it still works.
Yep.
Then Cassie kind of an electric chair and hits Swerve with Hurricane Raw, sends him into the barricade. Then he runs back in the ring, comes back at Swerve with a suicide dive. Then he goes for a beach break in the ring, but can't do it because of his back. Swerve goes for a suplex, then gets caught the Stun Dog Millionaire. Swerve misses a house call right after, and then after Cassie runs the ropes, Swerve hits a roll through flatliner. Then there's a Death Valley driver sticking him on the apron from Swerve.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie ran along the apron, and he hit Swerve with the DDT because Swerve was sitting on the stairs, and Cassie ran the apron, hit him with the DDT off the stairs, which looked pretty nuts.
It did.
Then he followed with the diving DDT in the ring for 2. Prince Nana tried distracting the ref. Swerve accidentally hit him. Then Cassidy capitalized with an orange punch and a beach break for a near fall, which I thought would have been the finish.
That was an awesome near fall.
Yeah, because that was the surefire finish right
Yeah.
there. Cassidy went for a suicide dive to an DDT. Swerve caught him, hit a brainbuster on the outside. Later in the ring, Cassidy got him in a crucifix pin for 2. And Swerve later on nailed a house call and a Swerve stomp for another near fall, which was pretty good.
And the one note I had is the facial expressions on Swerve after the near falls are awesome. Like he just believed that he's like upset that he can't put this guy away, and it just adds to everything.
Yeah. Then the finish came when Cassidy countered the JML driver into an O'Connor roll for 2. Swerve rolled back. He tried to pull the pants for the pin, but then Cassidy reversed it back. And he did the same, and he got the win with the tights.
That little cheater, eh?
Yeah. Desperate little cheater. Then Nana sent the rest of the Mogul MC out to beat up Cassidy. After little lights go out, like, for, like, 10 seconds or so. And then, I got excited for a second. I was like, oh, wait, it's Sting, isn't it?
Yeah, you were like, no, not Sting, and it was.
Yeah, and then it was Sting. And the Mogul MC retreated. Moral of the story, Sting is here, mid-card heel factions beware.
That's correct.
Especially if you're Brian Cage. Because apparently Brian Cage's greatest fear has to be Sting at this point. Like,
he is a machine. They're afraid of scorpions.
Machines are afraid of scorpions.
That's
how that works. Yeah, yeah.
I thought the crowd was awesome for this match and added to it.
They were getting the "This is awesome" chance.
They were into it. So I thought this was an awesome match to start the show. Kind of started slowly and then built into just a fantastic competitive match. Cassidy's amazing run continues, right? And I thought Swerve looked pretty great in defeat. And I think the finish of having Cassidy have to hold Swerve tights helps strengthen Swerve as well, right? Because this is the only way that Orange could find a way to beat him. And
I don't mind that, right? Because it kind of helps Swerve, and then also Cassidy's like, at this point, he kind of has to start resorting to stuff like that.
Yeah, that's further telling that story, right? Where he's not 100%, so he has to take whatever avenue is available to him. I hope it kind of means we're getting a rematch too, because I would be fine if they ran this back again.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a great TV match, and again, I think Swerve has what it takes to be a top heel in the company. He's so smooth in the ring. You'll hear us. That's the word we'll use the most to describe him, right? It's just smooth. He's so, and then just his heel mannerisms and stuff, I think are fantastic. His look, his like, the entrance gear he wears, I think everything with him is just awesome. So I this was my match of the night right out of the gate,
easily,
to be honest.
Yeah, I thought it was a great way to start the show. Everything you want in a great TV match, and it made for a good opener as a result. I think like I might have enjoyed the Fletcher one more just because that was like explosive and he was hitting like some crazy stuff. But I think like this was a nicer like all around package, like a little bit.
I think so too,
because I think Cassidy got a little more here. I think if the Battle Royal wasn't enough proof that these guys have chemistry, then this proves it tenfold. It was great to see Swerve get some spotlight again, and he got to look really good here, even if he takes a loss. Cassie's desperation pin means Swerve kind of like gets an out here, taking the loss, and then there were some good near falls at the end too. I think he stuck in longer than I expected. Like I said, the double finisher spot from Cassie, I thought that would have been it.
Me too.
I would have written it off there. Cassie delivers another bang here, and I'm questioning when this epic run will end, and I'm not complaining. I feel like I kind of was at first, because it just like at first it just wasn't really connecting for me.
Yeah.
But I think he's definitely won me over as of late, as he has with I think most people, it seems.
Yeah.
So I thought this was a great
just
way
the
to
long-term story of he keeps taking fights he shouldn't take, and he keeps finding ways to win, and all the matches are entertaining. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think this was great. The only thing I don't like is Sting chasing off an entire group of guys. Like, that's just
as he does.
That's never not gonna be stupid. It's just stupid.
Never not gonna be stupid.
Yeah. Next we get a quick Jay White, Ricky Starks promo package. It was nothing much. It was just hyping up their match later. Bit of a back and forth thing. And I thought it was a little like it was a solid little thing using that classic back and forth formula. I always love Jay White's promos. Like, he just always sounds good. He just sounds really comfortable with everything.
His style is I love it too.
Yeah, he's got a great style to him. And Starks is good too. Nothing groundbreaking here, but it gets the job done and it's perfectly solid.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Again, I love the way Jay White speaks, and since we haven't heard a ton of it, it's still like a novelty for me, so I enjoy anything that he and Juice are on TV right now.
I do enjoy them together.
One of the sort of angles that I'm enjoying is them
they're kind of
elevating
they're an underrated little highlight.
Yeah. Yeah, I like them.
Next we get Blackpool Combat Club versus Chaos, which is, I feel like AEW just revives Chaos randomly, because it's like best friends are in there randomly. Like, I don't know. Apparently there's something going on with Okada. He lost. I think it's because he lost to Sonata. Now he's doing like a Black Trunks thing or whatever.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know how it works. But it's basically just best friends, which is Trent and Chucky T. Just with Rocky Romero. So that's your chaos aspect of it.
Exactly.
Basically. There's a pre-match Danielson promo package hyping the Okada match, and there's a bit of speaking from Okada as well.
I thought it was
that's
cool.
also because Danielson's on commentary. Yeah, I thought it was cool. Not like I'm not gonna really dwell on that, but I thought it was just a little bit.
Me too, and I'm already hyped for the match. So
the
anything
billing
is
of the
fine.
match is literally just like one of the best versus one of the best.
Correct.
That's all you really need
Simple.
to it. It honestly, you could have no promo package, and I'm okay with it.
Agree.
So I think that gets the job done. Perfectly serviceable.
Me too.
Some notables from the match. KS attacked early. They got the jump on Blackpool. Trent hit Yuta with a superplex right away, and then Chuck just stuck him with a pile driver for 2. That was pretty cool. Claudio thankfully broke the pin. Tope con heel from Chuck to take up Claudio. Best friends hit Mox with that. Eat defeat, half and half suplex kind of combination. I always like that. I like that because I feel like the momentum from the thing goes in like it's a good combination, right? It's not like as much as I love the buckshot V-trigger thing, that always seems counterintuitive to me, just because it kind of nullifies the lariat a little bit.
Right.
I still love it because it's them, but like this one just really makes sense to me, so I always enjoy seeing that. Claudio and Yuta hit a heart attack, Shades of the Heart Foundation on Chuck. Trent got a bit of a hot tag flurry. There's a double knee strike from Romero and Trent to Mox. Strong's best friends hit Strong 0 on Mox with Claudio breaking the pin at a 2 count. Trent went for a moonsault on the outside, perfectly got caught with an uppercut from Claudio. That was really cool. And then the finish came when Mox countered an armbar from Romero and submitted him with the bulldog choke, which he did like the thing where he switches it into the sleeper hold. So yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no universe where Chaos wins this match, but I thought this was a fun trios match. And yes, the referee loses control and tags were pretty much obsolete, but that's fine. It doesn't bother me. We got a fast-paced, like, kind of frantic feel to this match that I enjoyed. And you can't have every match on a show like this or it gets exhausting, but Blackpool Combat Club, like, they're just a highly entertaining group for me right now. So I quite enjoyed this, even though you know who's winning and what's going to happen. Yeah. But I thought it was fun, and I liked that. It was smart, I thought, to have Chaos attack before the bell because that allowed them to have control because you know they're going to get dominated.
And because Blackpool does that so much of the time. So I remember when Mox and Danielson first started teaming, that was the thing they did like every time.
So it kind of allowed them to believably have control for the first bit of this, which I thought was smart. So yeah, good match.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I didn't really think about that, but that is a good way to give them like more offense in the match than they normally would have. And I like how Blackpool kind of like it's kind of a squash, but like it's more of an enhancement match, but like maybe a little above that, where like they're gonna dominate most of it, but they like Chaos got their flowers here, so I think they look good, and eventually Blackpool dominates as usual, so they look good too. And I think it's all like done a good job of keeping Blackpool heated, so it works perfectly. I think it was solid TV stuff here.
And best friends are one of those groups like you never have to do anything for them. You can put them in random matches and they can lose all the time. The crowd still likes them. They put on good matches. Like they're super low maintenance, right? And you never really need to push them. I know that's unfortunate for them, but they're a useful piece, I think.
Next we get a promo from the Hung Bucks, which that's not a thing we've heard in a long time. So the Young Bucks and Hangman, when they were talking backstage, and Paige was saying that was a great match, but they didn't watch it. So that was kind of funny. They were saying something else, and basically the gist of it is that Hangman challenged the Blackpool trio to tag at next week, or a trios match rather. Hung Bucks versus Blackpool.
Yeah, and I didn't have much thoughts about it. I just said that it's a quick segment setting up an awesome match, probably.
Yeah, I saw a little promo here. Sounded pretty good. I'm all for Blackpool versus Hung Bucks. That sounds great. Sounds like a trios match worth main eventing.
Or opening.
True. I mean, you could put MJF Cole in the main event, maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say this could main event because I feel like this could be the scene of Ibushi.
Could be. Ooh, that'd be fun.
Maybe like what they can do is, since he's New Japan, you could have like Ibushi. Let's say, like for example, I don't know. You could have Ibushi and someone. You could do maybe Ibushi and Omega versus like Mox and Claudio or something, right? Because obviously Danielson's tied up, and then you can have them and. Then you can have like them and Ilya versus then you can do Blood and Guts after. Cause obviously that's coming, but I know that's like gonna be after. Or I guess you could do like Mox and Takeshita versus Ibushi and Omega. Like you could obviously like a smaller version of this feud because you need to save like the big all out war for Blood and Guts.
Right.
So I don't know. They could definitely do something. I feel like Ibushi could come next week.
Then you have Ibushi turn, and him and Omega have a big feud for a while, and Ibushi joins Callis and Takeshita, and they start a heel faction.
Maybe after this.
Maybe.
Yeah. That wouldn't be horrible. Omega or Cal's just obsessed with the best Japanese guys.
Exactly.
Maybe he just takes Okada too, just for the fun
Like
of it.
Heenan, right? You get like just a stable of
They are
awesome
calling it his
guys.
family. So,
Yeah, I love it.
even though it's literally just Takeshita. Next we got a quick Ospreay Omega package. Not much to say here. Just I can't wait for this because the first was legendary.
Yep.
So most hype match. I think that the first one might still be my front runner for match of the year. I think
was awesome. That was super early in the year, wasn't
that
that?
Was
like January?
Like, yeah, it was Wrestle Kingdom,
Yeah.
so that's always January. So that might still be my front runner.
It was
If I had
great.
to think about it. So I hope they could better this because I would love to say that we saw the match of the year. That would be really cool. If this or even this or Danielson Okada.
Even
that's
if
like
they 3/4 it, it's gonna be a great match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I would just love for this to be better. And then it's like if that gets match of the year, like I was there.
Exactly.
Chump.
It was because we were there. We added to it.
Witness our first 5-star match.
That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't think we've seen one already? Technically,
I don't.
The weaponized
think
cage
so.
wasn't?
I don't think so because I think the first two Cole Garganos were.
Right.
Because I was watching a video about 5-star matches. I know the first two were, or they broke it better than Andrade. But I don't think the third one was.
Right.
Andrade
I think one of my
5-star.
favorite live matches was I really loved when we saw House of Black at Super Kicked. That match was super
Oh yeah,
fun.
I thought you were gonna mention the when we saw Revival versus Chad Gable and Bobby Roode at a show.
That too. That was good.
That was good. Yeah,
It
no,
was
the
good.
House of Black matches. I still have the videos from.
It was
that.
fun.
I still have some clips. I
It's a
remember
cool
like
match.
Murphy just kicked the crap out of. I think it was Chambers back. He
Yes.
just like leathered him.
Yeah.
But that was pretty sweet. Yeah. Anyways, I'm super excited for this. Like, I don't really need much build for this either. Like, I do love the whole idea that Ospreay was humiliated in the first match.
Mhm.
Like, he got annihilated. Like, he was almost a babyface. It's weird. Like, Omega was the babyface in that match, but like, it didn't really feel like
you
it at
almost
the
had
same
sympathy
time.
for Ospreay in the match.
Almost, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then like I don't know. It's a weird dynamic, but I don't care. I love like their feud. It's like
Me too.
it's really cool. There's definitely more of a story than the Okada Danielson one, and that's partially why this is definitely my more. And also just because I find Ospreay infinitely more interesting than Okada.
And we haven't seen enough of him, right? Like I just want to see
I
more,
want more Ospreay.
current because
Yeah.
I feel like this is peak Ospreay.
Yeah, because I remember you were always
Character-wise,
saying like he
everything.
wasn't as.
It's kind of boring and
But
too
now I think he's
too flippy and stuff.
Right, but now he's like I think he's balanced everything
Right.
now. He's so good.
Because
now.
before it was who's the best flippy? Like is it him or Ricochet? And now it's like he's an all round.
I think he's leagues ahead of Ricochet.
Yeah, I
now.
do too.
Like he's
Definitely.
he's so good. So I'm really happy to see this. Like
Me too.
That's gonna be so good. Next we hear from MJF. You told the drug addict fans to shut their mouths because they like the marijuana in Colorado.
That's correct.
MJ said that he is bored while adding. He also said there's no competition in this company. He told when the fans told him he sucks, he told them that their mother swallow. That's nice. He said nobody is on the level of the devil, and then out comes Adam Cole. That's the guy I like from TV.
Yes. This I mean shapes up to be a pretty good interaction whenever it's these two guys, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. MJF shouted to cut off the music, so no Adam Cole, baby. And I was like, you could. That annoyed me greatly. He could still do it, okay?
they got around to it.
He does. Yeah, but like you could do it then, okay?
You were
He just
annoyed.
looked stupid. He looked constipated. Okay, he was constipated in the middle of the ring. Not okay. That's weird. MJ said he's excited because finally there's some worthy competition for the champ. And he said Cole. He told Cole he's a big fan. He said when CM Punk left him as a kid, he thought his fandom of pro wrestling was over, and then he came across a TV show called Ring of Honor. He said he agreed with the fans that Ring of Honor sucked because I think they were booing him, but he he like pivoted that, so that was
Correct.
kind of funny. MJ said when he was about to change the channel again, he saw Adam Cole and MJF complimented him. He said he was instantly hooked. He said he watched Cole all the way from his days in CZW. That's surprising. Cole does not seem like a CZW guy.
He was.
That's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
MJF watched Cole become hottest free agent, then go in Florida and shock the system.
I remember being surprised Moxley was before I knew Moxley was like a violent animal.
Moxley,
right?
it makes so much
like
sense now.
WWE Ambrose,
Okay,
and you're
yeah,
like,
no, yeah.
he was in CZW doing like death matches and
Yeah,
stuff, right?
that makes sense.
Yeah.
MJF said Cole's the greatest world champion in the history of that company and brand. That is undisputed. That's the thing I liked. The fans chanted Mark, so MJF admitted that he was a Mark. That was kind of funny. MJF talked about how he went to CZW, then became an indie. He does not seem like a CZW guy either. What is this?
I think
is
it was
weird.
just a pretty major place to work, and it wasn't all death matches and stuff, right? I
It's
guess.
just like reputation.
Yeah.
Like it
One
just
of the bigger
doesn't-
indies if you're an indie guy.
Okay,
I think,
yeah.
right?
I guess then on that level it makes sense. He said he knew Cole would come in there, and they would have the rivalry of a lifetime. Two generational talents, Adam Cole and MJF. He said he went from the Panama Playboy to the Panama Game Boy. Roasted. It's Panama City
I was
Playboy.
gonna say you corrected him in the moment. Yeah,
That's another infamous mess up from MJF.
he has a few every now
He's
and
a
then.
big dummy. MJF said that Britt Baker leaves the house with Adam's balls in her purse. And MJF asked Cole, didn't he used to have the body of a world champion? Which I didn't
He never
notice.
did.
No.
He was in better shape than he is now, but he was
I
never the
haven't
body
noticed
of a
a
world.
lot, really.
He's just softer a little bit.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother
That
me.
makes sense. I really haven't noticed. So.
Well, he's also coming off of, like, if he had that serious a concussion, he's not allowed to be working out and training.
Yeah.
He would have been on full rest probably.
Yeah.
So.
MJ said Cole is so frail that he makes crack whores jealous. That was pretty funny. MJ said that he sees people online saying that Cole isn't featured properly, and he trashed the fans for thinking that. He said that AEW is doing all they can to make Cole look cool. MJ said all you have to do to make him cool is ring the damn bell.
Ooh.
NXT reference. That's the thing I like. MJF bragged about his matches like the Dog Collar match, the Iron Man match, the 4-way match, and called him the greatest professional wrestler on God's green earth. And he said he read a rumor that Cole left the other company because a certain person didn't think Cole had top guy potential, and MJF said that was Vince McMahon who felt that way. MJF said he's a big fan.
Yeah.
Or maybe Vince is a big fan of him, and that led to MJF saying when he stands eye to eye with MJF, he thinks that Vince was right.
Ooh.
Roasted.
Hurtful.
Adam Cole then gets to speaking. He asked if that's the best he has. Cole said MJF came across like an internet troll, and he trashed him for making fun of relationships and mentioned MJF's fiance leaving him again.
Yep.
Cole said MJF is a world class douchebag. Cole said that MJF mentioned his body because of the body of work that he's had as a wrestler in terms of matches and promos. And he said they could go to the back and piss in a couple cups and see who's natural and who's not.
Yes.
That was pretty awesome too. Cole said the boys and girls in the locker room respect him. And he said he's been a bad guy in the past, but they respect him as a human being. Cole told him that there's not a single person in the back who respects MJF. And he said that they think Max is selfish, conceited, and does the bare minimum to collect the big check in the world title. Cole told him that no one respects him. And MJF said that's a lot of tough talk coming from Keith Lee's manager. that was pretty good. And Cole said that MJF was a real champion. He would tell Cole to shut his mouth and fight him, but he won't do that because Max is a coward. He said he knows everything is going over Max's head. He said if there's one thing that he has to remember is that he won't fight Cole because he's better than Max and the fans know it. And he tried to leave, but MJF got into he went into angry mode.
Mm-hmm.
He said he'll wrestle him any day of the week, and then Cole says, "Looks like we have a match," and then we get the baby.
Right. For sure this was long, right? You can tell by your recap this was long, sorry. I was super entertained by this. Both of these guys are amazing on the mic, and if you give them enough time, they could talk this into a really big feud because the first one's just an eliminator, right? And I assume we'll kind of go from there. Again, even though MJF is like the biggest heel in wrestling, he still finds a way to put over Cole, right? Like basically, I hated ROH, and then you came along, and I was captivated, and you're awesome, and blah blah blah, and now you're lazy and fat or whatever. It's fine. He always brings it back around to being a heel, but he puts Cole over. So yeah, lots of reality sort of based insults and cheap shots from each. I don't mind this. I'm sure some people are going to be critical because it's too like inside baseball, whatever. I like this kind of stuff because it feels real. It feels like these are two guys just out sort of ripping on each other and trying to set up a match, and Cole's trying to get under his skin and get him to make a match with them.
There
and
were
he
some
gets
lines
what he
that got
wants.
audible reactions for me. I really enjoyed some of this.
Yeah, and it was for sure long, but I was entertained. Could they have shortened it up? Sure. But even in the form we got it, I still thought it was a pretty great pro wrestling segment, right? Between two guys that you can just send out there. And I'm sure they probably talked ahead of time and they're both secure enough to take these shots from each other, right? Like, sure, you can.
Yeah, it's not like
comment
CM
on my
Punk
body, sure, reference my fiance leaving me. Like, they're okay with it.
See, that's another issue I have with Punk is like
his
like
skin is thin.
Exactly.
Yes.
Hangman made one like allusion to him being
over.
an outsider, which he is,
and it was
and
over.
like that's not even the worst thing he could say. There's so many other like.
Right.
I would argue saying something about Cole's body or MJ's freaking fiance is way worse than like, and Punk got all up in arms about that.
Right.
Like, get over yourself.
He's thin-skinned.
Yeah. So and they're letting them like the urine thing. Punk would never let that slide.
No.
Obviously, he's straight edge, but like point being if that were the case, but like he would never let that slide. So, anyways, that's unrelated. But I agree. I thought this was pretty great. I found myself enjoying this a lot towards the end. As I thought really. Like Cole was unexpected, but I think the results are worth it. Like I thought he was surprisingly really good here. Like, like obviously he's always great, but like I would say dare I say he bettered MJF here. Like I thought Cole was my favorite part of this. So um I thought the urine line was great. MJF was great too. He had some nice zingers, and like I like the ROH bit as well. I thought they had like a great back and forth. I'd be all for a program with them. So I saw the Eliminator match next week. I thought that's pretty sweet. I would hope Cole wins that just because like I had like a full.
I feel
on,
like it because it's not.
Yeah, I'd like a full on title feud with them.
Me
right?
too.
Like, and I don't feel like because sometimes they do Eliminators just to like get like Takeshita got an Eliminator, but then
Yeah.
he lost. So
And honestly, I think for both of us, we've said it a million times. Babyface Cole isn't even our favorite version of Cole, but when he
no, it's
has
still great.
such a super heel to play off of too, it really helps. And Cole can do anything. Honestly, both these guys probably can.
It's far from my favorite Adam Cole because I was literally watching an old NXT match, the one with Gargano, that was just awesome.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite Adam Cole. Undisputed Era Leader heel Adam Cole was my favorite.
Amazing.
But like this is still great, and it's like he can like MJF's the perfect one to work off of, right? So
And then in a couple years or whatever, you can circle back around to this same match, but the roles are reversed, where Cole's a super heel and MJF's finally a babyface, and run it back. I don't care.
Yeah, because it's weird. MJF's not a horrible babyface. It's just I never want to see it because he's so much
so
better.
good as a heel.
Yeah, he's just like it's when he was faced like before Moxley, before that match, like it was so weird. Yeah.
So yeah, very strong segment here.
Yeah, I thought this was great. It was
leading into
my favorite segment.
Leading into a less than strong segment.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I think.
Next we got Hardy's and Brother Zay and backstage promo. Matt introduced Ethan Page as a new Hardy Party member and his employee. Hardy's make Page apologize for injuring Isaiah Cassidy or Brother Zay, whatever. Hardy said he wants to make Page a better person. They have to get rid of the ego and make him a better man. So I didn't like this at all. All this contract nonsense is so lame, and I know you agree.
I do.
Not to mention, I thought Jeff was garbage here, and a lot of people are not gonna like that. But like after Matt introduced him, I don't remember what he said. I specifically did not write it down because I didn't want to. But like Jeff just sounded so like
he's terrible on the mic.
It was
always
so
has
bad,
been.
but
Always will be.
I don't remember him being this bad though. Like it sounded so unnatural and just so bad every time, and like. This is so unbelievably beneath Ethan Page, and he's not even a top guy. Like he's not like on a Moxley level, but this is so unbelievably beneath him. Like poor Ethan Page. We need something good for him to do. Like I miss Men of the Year. I remember a time when I thought they would have been great tag team champions, and I love their theme song.
Scorp's gone.
But, yeah, like Scorp has just disappeared since he lost the TNT title. And I'm glad American Top Team disappeared, but I miss Men of the Year, man. They were sweet. Bring back Men of the Year.
So
I love them.
I agree with everything you said, right? The people owning other people's contracts is stupid. It needs to stop. Get Ethan Page away from this. And honestly, I don't know if you thought about this because I just kind of noticed. Like, contrast this to the previous segment, right? You've got MJF and Cole feeling real. And this feels the exact opposite, right?
Yeah.
This feels contrived and silly. And like the kind of ridiculous part, and it's kind
of
this is
the kind of stuff I'd get made fun of for if I was like they're like, oh, you watch wrestling, and this is on.
Kind of jarring to have those two things back to back, right? You went from an awesome in-ring, real feeling segment to like this nonsense.
Yeah, I really didn't like this. It was short too, and I hated it.
Yeah,
it was so bad. Jeff really blew me away in the wrong kind of way.
No more Hardys in 2023.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
I'm really glad Jeff got taken at AEW when he did, because if they had a tag title run, I would have just...
No, thank you.
I would have offed myself. That just sounds horrible.
It's a bit extreme.
Well, they're extreme too, so
that's true.
I win. Next we get Jungle Hook versus LFI's Preston Vance, a.k.a. Pero Peligroso.
He sucks.
And
I'm sorry.
Jalistico.
At certain things.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Because... I mean, I thought he was solid. Like remember, like when he was in Dark Order, he worked him up.
He
like,
can execute some good moves, but all of the other stuff, like running into barricades or being thrown over things, he's really bad.
Yeah, Hook and Vance are brawling in the crowd after Hook threw him over the barricade with air quotes.
Right.
That happened a couple times. Jungle Boy was choking Jalistico with a cable in the ring, and he ripped his mask. Hook hit Vance with a chain, and he was bleeding buckets. I don't know what it was, but he was like it was. Dark blood.
A ton of blood.
Hook T-bone suplexed him off the apron through a table, which was pretty cool.
That looked really good, I thought.
The landing was kind of funny. Hook and Jungle Boy took out Jose, then Jungle Boy made Jalisco tap to the snare trap as Hook made Jose submit in the Red Room just because. And I thought this was pretty solid. It was a decent, like, kind of wild brawl
It
kind of
over
match.
delivered for me,
Yeah.
despite Preston
Yeah.
Vance's sort of
Yeah, I thought it was
awkwardness.
pretty nice. Vance must have either bled hard way or done a bad blade job, because that was like
Like hit an
that
artery.
like he looked like he bled a lot after the chain spot, and it was dark, so it looked like it was deep to me. Like it looked like a deep
And
cut.
remember, right
I'm
away,
no expert, but
right away he had Hook doubled over, and it was just dripping blood all over Hook's
right,
back.
like he must have, like, I don't know if it was hard way or a bad blade job, but it was something. He didn't look good in a few minor spots, but I thought the rest of it was good. So I thought it was like, it didn't have a ton of purpose, but it was a solid little bit in the middle of the show.
No, I thought it was fun. Like again, you know who's winning, but I thought this was like one of those fun, hectic, bloody matches, and the crowd's really into Jungle Hook, so they pick up an obvious win. And yeah, Vance struggles in some areas, but he does execute some offensive moves well. It's just all the stuff, all the little things in between that only probably real wrestling nerds notice that bug me about him, and he doesn't seem to be kind of improving in those areas. But I mean, it does feel like a pretty big step back for Jungle Boy, right? He went from co-main event of the biggest pay-per-view pretty much to in a tag match against LFI in the middle of
Although
Dynamite.
I guess, like, I don't know how you wouldn't have a step down from him.
True,
for him,
but
because
it's
I
a
don't
big
know
one.
what else it is. Yeah,
But
to be
I
fair.
feel like there's a heel turn coming at some point with Hook, and that I'm interested
Jungle
in.
Boy.
I think, with Hook meaning turning on Hook.
Okay.
I think maybe Jungle Boy as a heel, we need to find out if he can do that. So
Maybe.
I feel that might be coming, and I'm interested to see.
Mhm. Next we get Takesha Squash against Sean Spears Light.
Well, and you're refusing that was
TMAs.
where TK announced Punk.
I honestly forgot where it was.
was right
I knew
there.
I ignored it.
I made a note of it.
Mhm.
TK announced the main event for Collision. No big deal. But
Mhm.
yes, then Takeshita
Yeah.
versus, my note says, some
Damon Ace.
just for men Mohawk and beard guy. Because it was so jet black, it just looked fake to me.
I went with Great Value Sean Spears.
Nice. He did from afar until
I thought it was Sean Spears.
Yeah.
Legitimately. There's some ground and pound from Takeshita. He did like a nice looking forearm to the face, and then a kind of wind up to the back. And then he just won with his power drive knee.
Yeah, I wish he had gotten more to showcase, but again, it was just a squash, and he comes out to no music, right? Which was interesting.
That was interesting, yeah.
It's like I shouldn't complain because it was clearly to get to the promo after the match, so whatever, it's fine.
I just wish he'd done more. Yeah, but so then after Callis said on last week, he will be heard, as he's just belting at the top of his lungs because he has to.
The crowd just
Yeah.
hates this man.
Takesha,
Or they're willing to play along, which is cool, right? Like fans know we're supposed to hate him, so we're going to hate him.
I feel like people actually hate him because
I think
we love the Elite.
Yes.
Takesha spoke in Japanese while saying Kenny Omega's name. He sounds really cool in Japanese.
He's just cool.
He sounds a lot more confident.
I can't believe how much I like him as a heel already, and he hasn't done anything really, and I'm already on board.
Yeah. The only thing I don't love is the match, but I'll talk about it. Like, I'm not saying I hate it. I just wish we saw more.
Right, me too.
Callis claimed that everything Omega has is because of him, and this is all Kenny's fault. He said everything the Elite has is because of him, and Kenny beat Will Ospreay because of Callis. And so, is that telegraphing the finish?
I don't know.
I'm saying this is our 2023 trilogy. Last year we had FTR Briscoes, and this year we have Omega Ospreay. You do the third one All In. There's your trilogy.
Ospreay stays, joins Callis, and then when Aussie Open are better, they join Callis.
But maybe.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet faction.
With Takeshita.
Yeah, that's what I mean. All of them.
I love Takeshita. And then Don said Kenny has been like a cancer to Don. Is that why he's bald? Because of Kenny Omega? It is Kenny's fault. This is a conspiracy. We're unraveling it here. So he's going to cut it out, and they will cut the Elite out of this company for good.
Yep. Callis sounds great. It's getting a great reaction. Something about Takeshita even standing there with his like heel facial expressions is working for me. I really like him with Callis, and it's Takeshita as heel. I am buying in way faster than I would have thought because he was such a good babyface too. But I think maybe he's just one of those guys that can do everything, right? So, other than speak perfect English, but that doesn't really bother me if he has Callis in tow,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, I like this.
Yeah, heel Takeshita is cool as a character with Callis. But I'm gonna miss babyface Takeshita matches while he's a heel, because hopefully, like, he'll be face again, and we can have his, like, because I loved his matches. So, but hopefully he finds his footing in ring as a heel, because there wasn't a lot here, but I think like hopefully the next he gets a little more. So I don't hate this. I just didn't love that we didn't really get anything.
Yeah, we didn't get a ton.
That's my
of
only complaint, really.
Agree.
The Trons were funny, just playing the Omega videos.
That was good.
And I saw like the graphic where he's like holding Kenny. That was really funny. I love Takeshita being a heel in Japanese though, and Cal's yelling over the crowds, endless boos again, never gets old.
Nope.
That's just it. They nuclear heat. It's amazing.
It is.
And yes.
And yes.
Yeah.
And
Next we
then,
get Christian Cage
mhm.
attacking everyone's favorite wrestler. He comes out of his locker room and says Arn Anderson cost him the TNT Championship, and since he took something from him, he'll take something from Arn. He and Luchasaurus leave the room, and it's revealed that, oh no, Brock Anderson got beat down.
So if Christian has his own personal change room, how many change rooms are there? If a guy as low down the card as Christian has his own dressing room,
I guess because he's a legend.
everybody has them. But anyway, sorry, I'm nitpicking. But yeah, I'm okay with this. Like, you bite Christian's guy's thumb off, and he's going to attack your son. So I don't really have a problem with it. Again, it's kind of interesting because Arn seems to have abandoned his son a little bit to work with Wardlow, but whatever. This makes sense for evil Christian, I guess, to dispatch his muscle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fine. I just don't care about this feud, so I'm not super invested. Oh no, Brock Anderson got beat down. Name one time anyone's ever cared about Brock Anderson, even once at all. You can't.
I cannot.
He's like so. I remember watching the Cultaholic video. There's a downfall to AWA. You know AWA.
I do.
You'd probably like that video because they're. I think you
I
probably
might.
like some of their stuff actually. The documentary style ones are cool. It's like they do Dark Side of the Ring kind of stuff, but like not as dark. It's just like more like documentary talking about stuff. Anywho, they were talking. So it was the AWA video, and they were talking about how like Vern Gagne, because he ran AWA.
Right.
His son wrestled, I think, Greg Gagne.
Yep.
And like how he was like boring. He didn't have anything that he had.
Right.
And like when I was watching this, I was like, that reminds me of Brock Anderson. And I'm not saying Arn Anderson's amazing, but it's like Brock's just like so bland and boring.
Arn
and,
was
like,
pretty good in his day.
It's like exactly. So like, but like, there's like no matter what you do, there's nothing you can like to make him interesting
Doesn't
or whatever,
seem like
right?
it.
Like, so it reminded me of that, which I thought was kind of funny. Next we get Chris Statlander versus Anna JAS. For the TBS Championship.
So what does Anna Jay do to keep getting title shots?
This is like at least the third time she's challenged for the TBS title.
And has she beaten anyone good other than internet
She's not
people?
good. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's not good.
Seems weird to me.
There's a roundhouse kick from Statlander. Spot of the match. There's a Thia Doom to the back.
Yep.
From Anna Jay. That was devastating. Oh, like when I was watching the Cole Gargano match, Cole hit some nasty super kicks, but this is like
it's like
topped all
beyond a black mass.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I would love for her to win a match at that someday. That would just be the funniest.
Remember when he was just black massing people on NXT, and it was so.
Remember
great?
that one match where he just did that? And that was it.
That's it.
That was awesome.
Loved
that
it.
was the match. Gory bomb from Anna Jay.
That looked
2.
good. I'll give her that.
Yeah, she's got a solid gory bomb, but it's hard to mess that up, I guess. Off a distraction from Matt Menard, Jay got Statlander and the Queen Slayer. Statlander powered up, threw her off, and there was like kind of a lariat backbreaker. Like it was like she grabs her like a lariat and then
quick,
takes her down. Like
sudden,
it was
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It was more like a neckbreaker on the knee, but backbreaker, whatever. Potato. There was a legs hook tombstone for the finish. Tombstone pile driver from Statlander for the win. I forget what she calls it, but it's like a front tombstone, but she hooks the legs in.
I
which
wanted
is
a
cool.
450 because I thought it looked sweet last week. But
yeah,
anyways,
it was all right.
multiple finishers, I guess. Yeah, my notes are Statlander is good, Anna Jay is not. This leads to an okay match that got a bit more time than I expected. Right? Yeah, Statlander's cool, man. Impressive combination of speed and power. She just needs better opponents than this to showcase herself, right? So, and then of course we see Taya backstage watching this, and she's mad, and I'm okay. I think the story is that she feels she did like 90% of the work for Statlander to get the championship, right? So Taya's pissed about that, and that makes sense to me. That's a simple, realistic thing. Like
that works.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, it's kind of odd. She's just standing and looking mad. She hasn't said anything yet, but I understand where she's coming from. I don't need to see her in ring too much anymore, but I get where they're going with that. At least it makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't really pay much attention to that, but I think that's a good way of putting it. Honestly, I don't hate that as a storyline.
I don't
narrative.
either.
That's not bad. And yeah, I thought it was okay. About it was good a match as I could expect from Anna Jay, I guess. She had a couple things that were okay, but as expected, just not great as well. The damn Thia Doom, I have no idea how she still thinks that's a good move, or one where she's like, yes, I need this in my arsenal.
Or
this move.
How doesn't she adjust it so it looks like she's hitting them with her foot?
Or just do a different
Because
kick.
are you now intentionally trying to make it look like you're hitting them with your thigh? Because you're not supposed to, but anyways. It's up to her, I guess.
It's just not a good movement.
What do I know?
Move at all.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we get an Outcast interview.
Yay.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I was angry about this one for some reason. My notes aren't nice.
That makes me happy. I'm interested. Storm talks about the 4-win Rampage this week with the winner getting title shot against her next week. Sky Blue.
Yeah, of course.
Storm says the Dynamite will be the same place as the first Dynamite, where the first women's champion will be crowned, or was crowned. Sorry, I don't know why I wrote will be. Soho says they'll be watching, and Storm says something about she's the greatest champion. Blah 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 blah. I'm gonna go first because I'm waiting to hear your.
It's
super
not that
angry
mean,
thoughts.
but yeah, go ahead.
Still, it's interesting to me. I thought it was fine, like not very good though, but they sound okay. Just it sounded a little off to me. I really didn't enjoy Storm's delivery on some of the lines. And I guess that's a solid Rampage match with some notable people in there. Hopefully, it means a solid title match this week. Nope, Sky Blue. But I don't have a lot of interest in the Outcast, and therein lies the problem with Tony Storm being champion right now. Is I don't like this faction. I have no interest in them. So any title program, even if it's like a short one like this, I'm not interested because I don't like this group. And Rampage really needs a shot up the ass.
Yep, I really dislike this, and there's just something about the delivery of each of the women in this that really bugs me.
It was so weird.
It doesn't feel realistic, and this isn't a fair comparison, but because I feel like they're trying to do the same thing as Blackpool, right? Compare this to Mox and Danielson. Who, when they cut promos, it's awesome and believable, even though they do different styles, right? So it might be that I just dislike this group so much. My bias is too strong, and I'm not going to like anything they do, but I try to be aware of that, and I don't think I do that, but I just don't believe them doing this, right? It's like I
don't like anything about this.
It's apparent that they're playing characters rather than they are these people, and it takes me out of like everything they do, basically. So yeah, there's not much chance I'm gonna like it, and I didn't like it. So
yeah,
I'm not
I agree.
surprised.
I'm not really. It's so hard to get invested in what they're doing. It's just like I don't know how this faction is this bad. It's like it's just I don't know what you can do with this.
I don't either.
It doesn't work.
To me, it's a teardown.
Exactly.
And go somewhere else and do something else.
Sky Blue for your title challenge. That doesn't make me more interested. I would like Martinez, if I'm being honest.
Agree.
That would be like she doesn't get a lot of spotlight anymore. So
and she's good and accomplished, and I don't know.
And not Sky Blue.
Correct.
Like, yeah, I really didn't like this.
Me either.
This is jockeying for position with the Hardy segment for least favorite thing on the show.
Yeah.
I might go Hardy's a little more. I'm not sure.
It is close, but they're both
really
bad.
It's really hard.
At least they were short.
Yeah. But combined, I'm just like, next we get our main event, which we just watched pretty much recently, like
right before we came down,
maybe. Yeah. Ricky Starks versus Switchblade Jay White. Everyone is banned from ringside.
And they keep talking about it being a grudge match. I didn't think it felt like it.
No, not
to be honest.
Not big time. I didn't hate the match, but
no,
I
agree.
It felt like a first match kind
right.
of thing. Like not like there's a huge grudge. There is somewhat of a grudge, but not like a big time for me. Other than you beat me up.
And commentary, you and I are both contrary people. So commentary trying so hard to tell me this is a great match. This is a great match. They said it like 3 or 4 times. I start to go, but it's not though. It's good.
Yeah, it was perfectly
but
fine.
It's not a great match.
I'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But it wasn't great. No. And that's not to say it was bad. Obviously,
no, I'm not at all saying that.
When you say it's not great, that's what it sounds like. But obviously, that's not what I'm trying to say. And
right.
You know what I mean. But yeah. So Starks met White on the ramp as he was making his entrance. They brawled around until they got to the ring. The match started. Some more brawling around ringside. White tried to retreat up the ramp, but Starks caught him at the top. He tried to throw White out the stage. White got out with a thumb to the eye. Suplex on the outside floor from Starks. After a commercial break, we're back in the ring with some corner chops from Switchblade. Starks went for a tornado DT. White countered and crushed him in the corner. Then we got a superplex from White for 2. There's a running back elbow in the corner. Then Starks did connect with that swinging tornado DT for 2. There's a Uranagi from White for 2. White blocks a spear attempt from Starks with a knee. Then Starks avoided a Blade Runner, connected with a spear anyways. And he connected with Rochambeau, but in the kerfuffle, the ref got taken out.
Yep.
Then the guns come out for some reason, hit Starks with 310 to Huma. And then the finish right after that was White just kind of picked him up and finished off with a Blade Runner for the win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, like, neither man seemed super fired up. The pace to this was pretty slow, although that's kind of Jay White's style sometimes, right? Is he's the methodical, because he's like rolling out of the ring and running away from Ricky Starks to begin this quite a bit, right? Again, commentary trying too hard to tell me how great this was. But I did think it was a good match. I'm not trying to say it wasn't, but I don't think this was an elite AEW main event. And considering these guys have been attacking each other while blah, 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 and this was supposed to be like a really bitter grudge match, it didn't feel that way. I thought the final few minutes were really good. I didn't love the finish, kind of cheesy, but I thought a good match. I know I sound like I didn't like it, but I did. Just not a great match. And Are we getting the Guns and Bullet Club? And neither of us hate that as much as you would
I
think
just
we
saw
would.
graphic Wardlow, Jake Hager next week. Oh
Great.
God.
He's still around.
No, that's one of the things I'm saying is the finish. So yeah, I thought this match was solid, like you said. The action was at a slower pace, but it was still solid. And
It
I
was.
think Jay White does kind of go methodical sometimes. I like the opener far more, but
Me too.
this still wasn't bad. So back to what you're saying about that. I thought the finish was somewhat interesting because I have no idea why the Guns would be here other than their history with FTR. And I'm not sure if this means the angle maybe that they full on join Bullet Club Gold, but surprisingly, I don't hate the idea.
I don't either.
And I haven't been a Guns guy for the most part, other than that one segment I really loved.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't hate that. They seem like character-wise, they seem like a kind of a perfect fit to go Juice and Switchblade. Like if they were in New Japan mid-carders, they would probably have been in Bullet Club. I feel
And then you have what I like with the main eventer, other singles guy, and a tag team.
That's what I was gonna say too, right? And like to me, like their characters, like because they're young, they kind of seem like young bucks.
Yes.
Like their characters,
Yep.
like I don't know. I just like it seems like as long as they keep improving in the ring, which I feel like they kind of have.
Yep.
Like I
They're
think
not
they're getting
terrible.
better. They're not amazing, but I think they're getting better. So as long as they keep that upward, like trajectory. Yeah, thank you.
Because they haven't been wrestling long, right? I was
Right.
surprised at how.
Right, exactly. They like I think when they turned heel, they had only been teaming for a year or
Right.
something. But like as long as they keep that upward trajectory, keep getting better, I would have no issue with them in Bullet Club Gold because like you have to add to the ranks at some point.
Yep.
And I think it's obviously an AEW Bullet Club, so you have to have some AEW guys. They fit that bill, and on paper they just seem like a good fit. I think I kind of like the idea.
Surprisingly, I'm okay with it as
like,
well.
it just kind of seems interesting to me. Like I at least want to try it.
But that's why our podcast is good. If we start to like people, we'll like them. Like we're not here to just constantly hate and never change our opinion, right?
Yeah, I know. If
you
this
do
was a
stuff
year
that's
ago, I
good,
would have
we'll
hated
start
it.
liking you.
Yeah, I'm on board to see that.
Me too.
It seems like it could work, and like you said, you have your two singles guys in a tag team. Like there's two mid-card titles. So even if you don't want to have White as the world title guy right now, you could have him have the international title at some point. Give Juice the TNT title because we all know that needs someone better, and Juice would be cool with that. Come on.
And then add a monster
And
like
then-
Big Bill.
Yeah. Maybe.
Right?
Maybe.
I don't
He's
mind a
better than-
monster.
He's probably better than Hikuleo.
Yeah,
and
for
they had
sure he
Hikuleo
is.
and Bullet
Oh, he's
Club,
way better
so-
than Hikuleo.
So, I mean, yeah. Anyways, it was a solid match, and honestly, the finish intrigues me. So I'm looking forward to see where this goes.
Yep.
That's Guns and Bullet Club is I mean
Don't mind
they're
it.
guns, right? 'Cause
Correct. They
bullets,
fit perfectly.
See, literally makes sense.
Yep. Overall, I thought this was another quite good episode. I really liked the opening Cassidy swerve. That was match of the night for me. I enjoyed the Jungle Hook tag match as well. The Cole MJF segment I thought was pretty awesome. Takeshita Callis I thought was really good as well. Main event was a good match. So a few issues along the way, right? Like obviously the Hardys promo. The women's match was nothing to write home about. A couple things that weren't great, but I really liked a lot of this show, segment and in ring. So I gave it a B+ this week. Enjoyable matches, couple strong segments. Overall, it moved pretty quickly for me. I quite liked it. Not quite an A show, but pretty close.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good show as well. I thought the opener was a great match. That was a really nice one. Like as far as TV matches go, that's one to check out, I would say. I like that quite a bit. The trios match was perfectly solid. I thought that was pretty good. The Texas Tornado tag was also solid. Takesha Squatch was just that. The women's match was okay, and the main event was solid as well. I thought the Cole MJF segment was really good.
Me too.
I love that. That was probably my favorite thing on the show that wasn't a match. And I would also check that out if you really want to. I thought that they had some really good bits in there. Hung Bucks were solid. Any like the Forbidden Door packages were solid.
True.
And then the only things I really didn't like were the Outcasts and the Hardys, and then I guess the Christian bit was eh. And then the finish also to the main event I liked as well, just to add that in. So I think that I think a B+ show is fair because I think it was like a pretty good show, and I think it could have been a little better, but I think it was like a perfectly like enjoyable show.
I'm happy because I feel like there was a lull in my loving AEW a while ago, but I'm happy with the direction. Like focusing on Blackpool and the Elite is awesome. Focusing on Jay White, I really like that as well. They're just doing Takeshita. The whole Callis stuff is good. They just seem to be sort of getting back on track
Finding
for me
the groove again
and focusing where I want them to focus. Right. The other thing is get that tag division back to.
Yeah, I mean, Guns are in Bullet Club. I would give them another shot sometime. I think their tag title reign was kind of stupid and unnecessary, other than transition it. But I wouldn't hate giving them another one if they really improve.
So I am really liking what I'm seeing from AEW lately. So that is great news.
Agreed.
But we will now veer off into the land of trivia. We'll challenge Jack with some chat GPT
with
generated
some
trivia
perfectly
for fun.
accurate and 100% right
100%
questions.
Accurate trivia in what we like to call off the top of his head. Okay, so this week we are going with, actually we'll read you the prompt I wrote for ChatGPT. It was 15 challenging multiple choice questions with answers about Bray Wyatt's WWE career.
Oh, God.
It said, certainly, here are 15, etc., etc. Okay, number 1. And it's right, because I know it is, because I lived it and I watched it. What was Bray Wyatt's debut character in WWE?
Are they talking Husky Harris?
They are talking
Okay.
Husky Harris. Good.
So what was it? Like he was as heavy as a tank and fast as like a
it was
Lamborghini or something?
It was a Ferrari engine in
Ferrari
a tank
engine,
body or
thank
something
you.
like that.
Yeah. That's so good.
Number 2, Bray Wyatt made his main roster debut as a member of which stable? So I'm not sure if this is right or not.
Nexus?
So,
Yeah,
but they're saying Bray
New
Wyatt.
Nexus. Or are we saying Bray Wyatt?
They're
Wyatt
saying
family then?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Wyatt
Because
family.
because they also said Bray Wyatt for the first one, so that's why I was like,
True.
he's a good, because like Husky Harris would have been New Nexus. But,
Correct. So
Wyatt
no-
family then, yeah.
correct.
Okay.
So that's 2 for 2. They're
all
right.
That's okay. Actually, 2 for 2.
Best start ever.
Okay.
Who did Bray Wyatt? Here's where things may get
Okay.
dicey. I don't remember. Who did Bray Wyatt defeat in his first WrestleMania singles match?
Wait. Okay.
Uh-oh. And I do have options, multiple choice.
When they mean like, so who did he defeat in his first singles match?
Who defeat in his first WrestleMania singles
Well, because
match?
that's okay. So the question confused me because like, I don't know if that means his first WrestleMania singles win or like if he won his first Mania match, because his first Mania match was against Cena, but remember that's the one he lost.
That
and
is
everyone
not
was
the answer
angry.
they're giving, but he is one of
And
the
then he
options.
lost to Undertaker. Then 32 he didn't have a match. 33 he lost to Orton. 34 he didn't have a match. 35 he didn't have a match. 36 he won the Funhouse match
Against
Cena. And then 37 he lost to Orton.
So would you say Daniel Bryan is not a correct answer?
It's not even remotely an option.
Because that is the answer.
That is not right.
So sorry, his first singles match defeat was
his
who?
first singles
Who
match
did he
was-
beat? Sorry, in his first.
like his first singles match win.
Yeah, who did he defeat in his first singles match?
He didn't defeat anyone in his first singles match.
No, but like
his first win.
yeah,
Okay.
in a
that
singles
was
match.
a Cena, but that was all the way
Okay.
in 2020.
It was one of the options. Number 4, Bray Wyatt won his first WWE Championship at which pay-per-view event?
Elimination Chamber 2017. Watched it, lived it.
Oh my God, they got it right.
Nice.
That's 3 out of 4.
Nice.
Getting smarter. They've been working on it. Which legendary wrestler did Bray Wyatt defeat at WrestleMania 30?
Didn't.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah?
WrestleMania 30? No, he didn't.
You're sure?
That's the one he lost to Cena.
So Cena's an option, but Hulk Hogan's the answer.
He beat Hulk Hogan.
Correct.
At
At
WrestleMania
WrestleMania 30. Look
Oh.
it up. It's a fact.
That's so dumb.
Number 6, Bray Wyatt's signature match type is known as.
That could apply to a bunch of things. Like you could do the Wyatt Swamp fight, the Firefly Funhouse match, Firefly Inferno match,
What are you
House
saying?
of Horrors,
Wyatt compound match.
Wyatt Compound match. I guess that applies too.
So
sure.
what are you saying?
Wyatt Compound, I guess.
No, they went Firefly. Firefly Funhouse. But all of those were House of Horrors, Firefly, Swamp Fight, and Wyatt Compound.
And
were
then there's
all...
also Firefly Inferno.
Right. Who did Bray Wyatt defeat to capture his second WWE Championship?
He only held it once, but sure.
Did he really?
Yeah,
That's
he held that
amazing.
once. He held the Universal twice.
So you want to guess out of their wrong
Rollins?
options? They said Cena.
No, well, that's who he beat for the. That's not even true. Well, okay, it is kind of true. He took his first WWE title he did end Cena's reign, but AJ Styles was the last one in the chamber match, so it depends if you really want to go there. But like, it's not right because he only held that belt once.
Which former member of the Shield had a memorable feud with Bray Wyatt?
Ambrose. Actually, all of them have.
They're saying Roman Reigns.
Okay, that's fair.
The other ones weren't memorable, I guess.
I would say Ambrose and Rollins were more memorable because Rollins was, remember, the Fiend, the Hell in a Cell match,
Yes.
and then Ambrose had the exploding
That
monitor bit.
monstrosity.
So I would argue Roman's the least memorable one.
Which pay-per-view event did Bray Wyatt win his first Money in the Bank briefcase? As he never won it, right? That's going to be the answer.
What? That's no.
And the answer is Bray Wyatt has never won Money in the Bank, so they got
They
it right.
actually
They
okay.
did. Trick
okay.
questioned you.
Okay, good for them.
Bray Wyatt's alter ego, The Fiend, made its in-ring debut against which WWE superstar?
Finn Balor, SummerSlam 2019,
They
and that was
got
in
it.
Toronto, baby.
They're doing better than ever this week.
Yeah,
They got that
they
one.
love Bray Wyatt.
Which pay-per-view event did Bray Wyatt win his first Firefly Funhouse match?
There was only one. It was Mania 36.
So they got that wrong. They were so close, ChatGPT. They
What did they
said
say?
Mania 35.
He wasn't on the card.
So close. Who did Bray Wyatt face in his first ever Inferno match?
Firefly Inferno? Was that it was Orton.
Well, he's one of the options, but they went with Undertaker because you don't know anything.
No. I thought they were going to say Kane because Bray Wyatt's debut main roster match was a Ring of Fire match against Kane, which is basically the same thing.
Bray Wyatt's real-life brother, Bo Dallas, was a member of which faction alongside him? Not true. Guys, see the answer, and it's not right, unless I remember.
Outcasts?
No, they're saying the Wyatt family.
No, Bo Dallas was not in that. The only faction Bo Dallas was ever in was, I guess you could count the Miz and Miztourage, or you could do the Outcasts.
And if he was
Outcasts
Uncle
had
Howdy,
a sweet theme, okay? Yeah, but that wasn't Wyatt family, though.
True. Bray Wyatt defeated which WWE legend in a House of Horrors match?
Orton.
Correct, they got
there
that.
We go.
Last question. They're doing well this week. Bray Wyatt famously feuded with Randy Orton after Orton joined and betrayed which group? Isn't that based on the previous question?
Wyatt family.
Correct. So they got like what? Maybe 6 out of 15?
I'd say they got the better of them.
That's pretty good. That's not bad at all. All right, well, we're going to switch back to wrestling that we watched this week, talking about what we liked and didn't like in a segment we call Highspots and Restholds. All right, so this will be all me because I don't think you got around to watch.
The only thing I'm going to talk about is Asuka on SmackDown.
Okay, so we'll get there. So I'll start it with NXT. I didn't get a lot of high spots out of NXT this week. There's usually like 1 or 2 good matches, but I didn't think this was a great week. But anyways, Resthold for me was the show opening with Baron Corbin. He heads down to the ring and takes just far too long to basically say that he built NXT before going on to being super successful on main roster.
He didn't do that much in NXT though. I know he was I do remember him in NXT, of course, but like he didn't win anything. He didn't like.
And then he moved up really fast.
Like he feuded with Aries and like he won the Andre Battle Royal.
Yeah. The current NXT roster is worry about their legacy and complain about not getting called up and stuff. And then Dragunov comes out, challenges Corbin while showing a nasty bruise from his match with Dijak on, like, I think it was his right side. I think Corbin says something like, your whole body's going to be covered in bruises like that. Trick runs down to attack Corbin as Corbin poses to end the segment. Just too much Corbin here. They could have done this in far less time and fewer words. And again, I'm not a fan. They have to be careful because I don't love when they bring down struggling main roster talent.
I knew you were going to say that.
Immediately,
I thought that kind of made sense too.
And they're immediately better than your like anybody there, right? It's just
that was the whole Ziggler thing.
It's basically like just because they're on main roster, they're head and shoulders better than everyone in NXT.
Which doesn't really make it seem like a third brand,
right?
Then clearly like they're above the NXT people.
So I don't know. I really hope when he faces Dragunov, just because Dragunov has the momentum right now, that he is beating Corbin when this happens, because I
feel like he has to.
I don't see what Corbin gets out of beating Dragunov.
And then I feel like Corbin's going to challenge Carmelo, which I feel like was kind of weird.
Yeah, I feel that's what we're getting as well. So that's why I worry if he faces Dragunov before that.
Right, that's what I was
Dragunov loses,
too,
so I hope not. High spot, a pretty good tag match. I feel like the Dyad and the Creeds have pretty good chemistry together. The only problem in this match was that you have Ava involved and Ivy.
Right, it was like a mixed,
So the Dyad and Ava actually defeat Diamond Mine because Ava puts on her mask, which I guess is made of concrete or something, and headbutts Ivy with it while the ref's distracted.
I guess like plastic would be harder than your face, I guess. Like...
But still, so the action between the Dyad and the Creeds was quite good. Ava's really bad. Like, she's super green. The finish to this I thought was really weak. But Julius and Brutus seem to be finding more ways to just showcase their athleticism. Julius does it every week, but even Brutus got a chance this week.
I saw him do the moonsault, which is pretty.
Like, he nails it,
smooth,
man.
Yeah.
So Dyad and Creed seem to work really well together. A segment that didn't work so well for me was Stax visiting Tony D in prison. So they do the talking on phones,
awesome already.
Phones through glass thing. Tony D says that. I thought this was an odd line. He basically points out that he gets Peacock in prison so that he can watch NXT. I guess it's their way of saying this is how he knows what's going on when he knows what's going on. But it kind of felt like shoehorned in there, you know what I mean?
So. Yeah,
a little bit.
Weird. The prison's paying for Peacock.
And so these are just cheesy segments, right? I don't think either guy's doing a bad job in their role. It's just the role they're being asked to play is kind of weak, I think. Oh man, I wish you'd watch this because I almost wanted to send it to you. It almost went bad and circled back around into good. And that's Von Wagner going to therapy. Did you hear
Oh
about any of
no,
this?
I did not, but that sounds horrible.
So he's talking to Robert Stone, and he gets flashbacks to the previous therapists he's been to, two other ones I think it was. And obviously he loses his temper right away because they've just constructed this whole like he has anger management problems out of thin air basically in the
Right.
last couple of weeks.
Right.
So they're in the current, I guess the next therapist he's going to see in their waiting room, and somebody comes out of the doctor's office into the waiting room crying, and Vaughn says like I'm never going to go see this doctor blah 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 because he doesn't want to talk about his stuff. And then the doctor comes out and she's like this gorgeous woman, so suddenly Vaughn changes his mind and like
Oh.
says he'll go in alone and sort of winks at Stone before going in. So just really really bad, almost bad enough to be funny but not quite, right? So I feel like my time was wasted here, and I don't know what they're hoping to get out of On, and they seem determined to find something, but I would suggest they've found nothing so far.
Yeah,
right?
I don't
So,
I don't know if there's anything to be
other
found.
than him and Kyle O'Reilly vignettes that were so bad they were definitely back
Yeah.
into good, but
Yeah.
we haven't gotten there yet.
I mention it every time, but I love his failed heel turn. That was just the
It was
funniest
great.
thing. Where like I mean, sure he beat O'Reilly in a cage match after, but my favorite thing was he tried to turn on him and then he just got chumped.
Yeah.
That was just my favorite thing ever.
I didn't love Davenport. She squashed Danny Palmer in her return, so it's only 3 minutes, but I thought it looked kind of sloppy. I didn't think Palmer looked very good at all, and she's super new, so that's not anything that she can improve on, but it was really hard to comment on Davenport. She seemed to be working with someone who's just not great at this point, so
Right.
I didn't think that was the strongest choice for returning Davenport, but what are you going to do? Another rest hold for me was Dana Brooke is back to take part in the Battle Royal. Like, okay. And she looks completely different from her first
Yeah, you're telling
NXT
me.
run. Body and face are both different. And I just put, that's not nice. I put, it's rare for someone to wrestle so long and still be so bad. Because she's not good.
Yeah,
It's like Alicia. She and Alicia are the poster people
I
for...
saw like a video talking about how underrated she is and how
No.
like she's
Nope.
improved so much
Wrong.
and she deserves more
Disagree.
now. Like
Disagree.
I
Strongly
wholeheartedly
disagree. Yep.
Like I don't think so.
Glad to say a high spot this week after a miss last week was the promo from Tiffany Stratton. Last week I felt like they asked her to do too much in a lengthy live in-ring promo. This was back to her usual solid work. She talks about everybody wanting a title shot because I think they were asking her who she was picking to win the Battle Royal. And she kind of puts over Lyra Valkyria here, saying, I think that basically Valkyria, because she was so tough to defeat in a singles match, is her pick to win the Battle Royal. So she was a lot better here.
Boy, was she wrong.
More Baron Corbin, I thought, was a rest hold, and that was just a lengthy, I thought, mediocre match with Trick Williams. Gave them 11 minutes. I thought it was boring for stretches and pretty ordinary. Again, Corbin's ring gear was awful. The crowd did
That's so like I saw it too and like it's just it's
So
questionable.
bad.
I don't know why you would do that.
You just look like you don't care.
Exactly, right? Just
Right?
like it looks so apathetic.
The crowd did get into a "This is awesome" chant at one point, but I didn't agree with them at all. Trick is selling his knee in this match, and Corbin's tacking it off and on. And then Corbin sort of Trick's having a little bit of a comeback near the end of this. Corbin cuts it off with a kick to his the knee he's been hurt, and hits the end of days, which is still a pretty cool looking move for the win. And obviously Corbin's going to beat Trick. I'm totally fine with that. But again, I hope this isn't building momentum for him to beat Dragunov because that's not what I want. Dragunov has serious momentum right now, and Corbin, I don't
Mello and Trick also showed up on SmackDown last night.
Uh-oh, did they?
Yeah.
I tell you, Trick might get there before Mello just because he's big and he can talk. Awesome. Rest hold. So I think this is the third time now, and they need to maybe revisit this. The hard-hitting home truths with Nathan Frazier. First of all, the name is dumb.
It's such a mouthful. It's like
And-
I don't know if the alliteration's meant to like make it flow off the tongue and like but like I don't
And the name of it is with the whole thing. The tone of it, I don't understand. It's neither serious nor comedic. It's living kind of in the middle for me, which means it's not working because I don't know what you're trying to do.
right.
Right? Is he trying to be funny and amusing, or is this a straight up segment? It is showing that Fraser has more personality than I thought he did, but like I don't get what they're doing.
Not a good person.
And this week, Dragon Lee is the guest host, and he has 5 supposedly humorous names for Dar's new group, which I don't remember what it was, but it was like a top 5 list like you'd do on a talk show. So not great.
The metaphor.
And then basically Fraser eventually ends up challenging Dar for the Heritage Cup next week, which should be a sweet match. Again,
I will consider watching.
hoping Dar needs to keep that cup because it's just a great prop for what he's doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't imagine he loses it yet.
No.
High spot
I think
for me.
Fraser probably challenged him in UK too.
I think so. I would imagine so.
I remember he at least had one with I was gonna say Axiom, but A Kid. They had
Right.
like a number one contender. I don't remember. I think he lost, but still.
Mustafa Ali debuts in ring, and it really wasn't anything other than it was nice to see him in the ring. And did you hear who he beat in 3 minutes?
Gacy.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if Gacy's like stock is dropping rapidly, and they're about to maybe do something different with him because not even a competitive match at all.
Also, I hate Ali's boots. They're horrible.
But even though I like Ali, he needs to be built up a bit more too because he can't be just thrown into a prominent role either based on what he was doing on main roster, right?
I mean, yeah, even like throwing him against Gunther was weird.
And having him rack up some wins is fine. And then, because then I want to believe that he's really good, right? So just
Ali's
build him
good
a
in the
bit.
ring. So yeah, you just have to build him because I always liked him, and it still sucks he never got that push he was supposed to get.
I agree. And then later, I think a little bit later, Gacy's in a bit of a backstage segment saying he's going to take some time to reflect, which I wonder if like he leaves or something or is gone for a bit and they tweak or change his character. But anyways, High Spot, as always, High Spot is Noam Dar. He introduces the rest of his team, which is Lash legend, Jakara Jackson, and Oro Mensa, and they're collectively
Jackson. What a crappy name.
Collectively known as the Meta 4. So I think it's two separate words, Meta, the number 4. I'll get used to it.
I don't like
love
the name, but I also think it's really funny.
It is. So
I like it and I don't like it at the same time.
And he says he'll gladly defend the Heritage Cup against Fraser next week.
I appreciate the humor of it.
And I'm okay with this group. So too much Lash Legend is no good. But as part of a group in a minor role,
you can filter it out.
She could work, right? Mensa needs someone to speak for him. And I'm not convinced of him as a heel yet, but we can give it a try. And then Miss Jackson, or what's her first name? I don't know much about her, but I'm open to her being involved too. And it's like, for me, it's people like, yeah, but it's random. But I feel like that the story is, or at least the story I'm inventing because I love Noam Dar,
headcanon kind of thing.
That he's such a sleazebag that he has to form alliances with whoever he can, right?
And
he's not likable. Like people don't want to work with him.
As much as I I hate Lash Legend, but like the personality kind of
I agree
fits to a degree, right?
I agree.
It's a big change for Mensa, and Jakara you can make up whatever. So the only real thing you have to change is Mensa. Maybe like because he's been floundering, so you could probably work out something for him, right?
Yeah.
So I think like if they really tried, they can easily like work it in their favor.
And I think it's like he can't get A-listers to work with him because he's a jerk and a sleazebag. Yeah. So this is what he gets.
I'm gonna miss Shaw Samuels though.
So I kind of he sounded great as always. Yeah, Shaw fit with him well.
Shaw.
I heard he was still around though. Somewhere like I heard his name.
He got released. He was It's because I did see him just recently because Joe Hendry's got like a food talking show on.
Oh, does he?
Whatever it is, like an Impact affiliate thing, and so he had the one time he had Gato on. You remember Gato from like the Joe Hendry when we went, and then he had Simon Miller on from What Culture, and then he just had Shaw on. So that's where I've seen Shaw like just recently.
Nice. Shaw Samuels. He worked with Dar. They were a good little duo.
Yeah, that was a cool gimmick. Yeah.
Another Resthold, and I'm just not on board with this guy. It's Eddie Thorpe taking on Damon Kemp.
I hate the buzz cut. Can I just say buzz cuts are horrible?
Pretty average match to further this feud, and so weird finish too, because Kemp got his foot on the ropes after Thorpe's what I think's a lame finisher. He does like a leaping elbow finish. He does like look like he drives down with force, but still, it's an elbow drop from a jumping
move should be a finish. And I'm looking at you, people's elbow.
So then the ref sees that when Kemp gets his foot on the ropes, but a little bit later, Thorpe hits a German suplex bridging in the corner, too close to the corner, where a normal ref would be like, obviously I should look for a rope break here because we're right in between all of the ropes.
Horrible ring awareness.
But he doesn't see it, so Kemp loses after 4 minutes and is angry, and I guess the feud will continue. And it's obviously a 4-minute match. I'm not going to get too upset, but there's nothing special here, right? Thorpe just continues to be kind of unimpressive, and it's been several weeks now. And you can see they kind of see it too almost because they're not putting him in stuff like they are with Dragon Lee and a couple other new people, right? So Resthold, believe it or not, is script.
No.
This bugged me on multiple levels. A, he rolls up Daba Kato in 3 minutes. And B, Axiom couldn't beat Daba Kato last week, right? So I'm not thrilled that Scripps is doing better. And Booker T at one point, I think near the beginning of this, tells Vic to call Scripps Reggie, since Vic is not Reggie's friend or family. And this, I thought, is contrary. I feel like they're trying to clear up the name issue and say call them scripts, and that Booker T is kind of not helping that narrative at all by doing that. I will say that Dabba-Kato hit a big boot and Scripps took it and like complete like cartwheeled in the air. It looked awesome. And then basically Scripps wins because Axiom does show up for a distraction. But again, I don't like that Kato beats Axiom really easily and Axiom's awesome, but then loses to Reggie. And
on 2K, I seem to always have a good match with Axiom and Ali. So now you could
that
pair
would
them
be
together.
that would be a good match in real life. So I'm annoyed that Axiom's tangled up in this, and we'll see where it goes. And then the only other thing, I thought the main event battle royal was nothing spectacular at all. The only thing I actually remember, and it came from Lash Legend, because she slammed Thea Hale on the steps outside, and it looked really good, and that took Thea Hale out until the finish. There were women I've never heard of in this. The only things I kind of noticed is Paxley and Davenport
I saw
now
a clip of
are
the finish.
appearing.
I literally didn't even know that Dana Brooke was in it.
Right. So Davenport and Paxley are a duo.
Really? Why?
And then you had Feroz and Leon seem to be entering an angle with Lash and Jackson, because I think they were fighting to the back at one point anyways.
Leon's back.
So yeah, as I figured, right, Hale wins with the classic. She was never eliminated and we forgot about her, so she came back in near the end with a few people left to win. Really basic stuff. The winner I expected, because they need a disposable baby face. That's not a nice way of putting it, but she is.
Youngest number one contender in history.
And she's the only one, right, who's been getting a bunch of time and actually having angles involving her, so I figured it would be her. And she'll lose, but that's fine. Impact, one of the weaker in-ring impacts lately, just quickly. Highspot, I did like the opening match. It was Hotch and Bay again in a rematch after Hotch surprisingly won the first match with lots of interference from Skyler and Myers. Bay gets his win back here. I think I preferred their first match, but this one was pretty good as well. And I did like their match on, what was it, Against All Odds? Is that what I just watched?
The one you just watched, yeah.
Because Hotch and Skyler need to change their name, though, because Good Hands, like, puts a ceiling on them, right? It's basically means, like, you're good wrestlers who will never get any attention or belts.
I guess, like, you could, like...
I don't love it.
You could use that as, it's like a play on that.
Although the promo, I think it was Skyler said, and then the belts will be in good hands. Ha, ha, ha.
That's good.
But they're good in the ring, and they, like, look for all the shortcuts, and they cheat with Myers. Like, they're a really good heel tag team, I think. Anyways, surprising Resthold, not surprising, is a promo from the design. So they made the decision to let Alan Angels say a lot to start this promo. That's a bad idea. Then they decided to let Khan say a little bit after that, and that's a bad idea. Basically, Angels never trusted Callahan. Diener's going to take everything from Sammy, and this is bland and pointless, and there's no teeth to these guys. All they do is talk, but never actually accomplish anything. And Sammy Callahan's capable, and they can do stuff with him. He needs to get away from this, and I've been saying that for months. This needs to stop. Highspot, I really like this. I made you watch it. The Dirty Dango pre-recorded
cool
segment. I really like what he's doing here. He's basically saying, like, he made a ton of money being a dancing fool in he doesn't say WWE, but this is me paraphrasing, and he's invested that money wisely, and he's still living off it. And basically, he's only an Impact because they're willing to pay him. And if I think a reference to like AEW and WWE, if any company wants to pay him to stay home, then he won't whine or complain. I think that's a reference to like probably Miro and Andrade and stuff like that.
I think it's half a reference to WWE because they do pay a lot of people to like that just sit at home. But then I think when he started the complaining thing, I think that was more of an AEW jab.
I think so too. So it's like he'll stay home and cash checks and won't complain. He'll be the best employee ever. He talks about the digital whatever belt being a toy belt and that he's going to take it off Hendry, sell it on eBay, and go on vacation. I really like this new character. It's just like, I've made my money. I'm here if you're willing to pay me, and I don't care about anything, right? So I think that's kind of a cool avenue to go down, and we'll see where it goes. And then I also, we watched this as well. A high spot was sort of Hendry's reply, right?
That was good.
He's in the ring.
I really like that.
Hendry had just defeated Sheldon Jean in a decent match. But then Dirty Dango comes out. Hendry basically interrupts him and shows him a video he made mocking Dirty Dango, and it's basically, it was funny. I thought from beating Jericho to becoming a fake cop with Tyler Breeze to striking out with women on Total Divas, right? Was the gist of it.
It was really funny.
What was the line they ended with? Something about a reject, Total Divas reject or something?
It was like being Jericho 1, 2, 3, something about Tyler Breeze, and it was like he got rejected by Summer Rae and Eva, trying to get laid on Total Divas.
Right. So
It's on Instagram if anyone like wants to see it.
It
I thought it was really funny.
It was funny. It's the most interesting thing Henry's done in quite a while. And also, like, when they pull away and show it playing on the Tron in the arena and Henry's in the ring kind of just dancing to it, it made me laugh. So it's the most interesting thing that either of these guys have done in quite a while. So I really like this. I also really liked, and especially now knowing what happened in the match, you saw this too, the Alex Shelley segment. I thought it was really good, right?
Yeah.
So ahead of his title match at Against All Odds, which, spoiler alert, he ended up winning, right?
That was surprising
to me. But he was basically talking about all the people he's helped elevate all around the world, right? Including Seth Rollins, Gargano, the Young Bucks, etc.
I love those guys.
And now it's basically he's saying his turn to elevate himself, and that Macklin is a violent, brutal champion, but that Shelley's a better wrestler, and he's going to beat Macklin and become the champion. And my notes in the moment were really good segment. I doubt Shelley wins, but this segment will make it easier to root for him. Because I thought it was really well done. It's like, I've been all around the world, never held this belt, but I've helped everybody else get better. So now it's time for me.
And he's a TNA guy.
Right? So, yeah, I thought that was really cool. I also thought there was a solid Macklin promo a little bit later, kind of responding to Shelley. Talks about how he knows that everyone's coming after him, even those on his side, right? Because Bully Ray is giving him till after Slammiversary, because I don't know what it's always Bully Ray has to orbit the main event, I think. I thought he was just solid on the mic here. High spot, they showed us earlier that Masha Slamovich is just attacking people on BTI, and then she sort of announces that her match with Killer Kelly will be the dog collar match that I watched this morning. And I like Masha's just super cool, and I really like it when they allow the women to be just as violent and sadistic, right? That it's basically like, treat them just like the men. And Masha's really believable in that role, and I think she and Killer Kelly should have or had a cool match. Not my favorite stipulation, but I did like the match because they're both been built as they just want to hurt the other one, right? So basic offense with chains and stuff is kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Resthold, they had Trey Miguel cut a live promo. After his match, he beat Gujar in about 5 minutes. He talks about being the greatest X Division champion ever, and he doesn't respect Sabin and will defeat him against all odds. I don't think he sounded good here, and I don't really think he should cut a lot of live promos. Again, I think it's similar to Ruby Soho and Tony Storm. There's something about his delivery that's awkward. And
I thought it was the green spray paint.
And it hasn't improved, right? Like, he still sounds not super great to me. I don't believe him when he's speaking. But anyways, he won't be the champion much longer, right? The main event, I thought, last thing I had was solid. It was decent action between Moose and Swan and Gresham and Aldis. So I think that's one of the teams in the 8-4-1.
Probably.
So that's kind of lazy booking for me, right? Like, we'll put two guys that are in a pay-per-view in a different combination and have them face each other. So it's not really any interesting story or stakes, but I guess beloved momentum is all they're wrestling for. Tough to care about matches like that, but it wasn't bad, right? You had a blind tag by Moose stops Swan from hitting his Phoenix Splash, leads to Moose hitting a power bomb to Gresham for the win in about 13 minutes. Other members of the 8-4-1 end up coming out. Brawl ensues. PCO hits a really weak diving somersault to a crowd on the floor to end the show. So decent match in terms of in-ring. Just didn't really care. It's just like random dudes thrown together ahead of a different match the next day sort of thing. So yeah, you were saying you had something from SmackDown.
Yeah, the only thing I had to say was Asuka got presented with a new women's championship.
Go ahead.
And
you loved it.
It's so dumb. It's exactly what I expected it to be, which doesn't make it any better. So here's that.
It doesn't look like anything new.
It's literally a white strap version of Roman's belt. So it's got the gold backing on the front plate. And so I hate the design because it's silly. This has to be like, if you want to total the amount of belts that they've done with the big W logo. Like, so there's the WWE title, right? The one, like the network logo one.
Right.
There's the red Universal.
Yep.
The blue Universal.
Yep.
The eco-friendly.
Awesome.
If you want to include
Underused.
that one's still great, but it's based off the same design, so we're lumping it in here. The Raw women's belt, the SmackDown women's belt, and now the undisputed title that Roman has, and now Asuka. So that's 8 belts, the same design, just color swapped.
Yep.
And that's outrageous. So that's one of the reasons I hate this belt, because like I don't think the gold backing looks amazing. I think it looks kind of weird. I think I'm just trying to like compare for myself like the black strap versus the gold strap. I don't think like don't think one looks better than the other, and they have the black gems on the WWE logo, which I think people are agreeing that looks horrible because
Mhm.
like it just doesn't like blend well. I think it looks better when you have the white gems to like kind of complement the W,
For
right?
sure.
So I just don't think that works, and then I just don't think the gold's like an amazing color. It just kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. Like gold is a nice color to have on the belt, obviously, and it always looks good. Like usually,
Makes sense on a belt.
obviously, like most belts are usually like mostly they're gold, like the world heavyweight. But like just something about the gold on these new belts just doesn't work for me. And the biggest issue I have with this is that they're calling it the WWE Women's Championship, which is that's perfectly fine. That's like I think it makes more sense to not. I do the biggest like the nicest thing I can say about this belt is that it gets away from the brand
Right.
name, right?
Yep.
But the stupid part is I will show you. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it already, but like, look on the front. It says Women's Undisputed Champion.
It does.
That's blatantly wrong because
Dispute it.
because the issue I have with Roman's belt is he's not undisputed anymore because Rollins has a new belt, but at least he was undisputed because he won the unification
And he was
match.
the only one.
He was undisputed for like a year.
Yep.
But then now Asuka's belt, like, she never won any unification match. She never unified any titles. She's never been undisputed for even a second. Because here Ripley's been champion for longer than she. Ripley's been champion for longer than Asuka has.
Yes.
Like, so it's so dumb. Like
She would dispute it.
Exactly. Having undisputed on the championship is wildly unnecessary. It makes absolutely no sense.
Right.
And then, so per the rumors, this was rumored and it was true. So then, per the rumors, Ripley's gonna get a white strap version of Rollins' belt, which I hate because I love that belt, but I like Rollins' belt a lot actually, and I think it's one of the best like new ones they've done. But I think I want that to be its own belt because I really like it. So I don't. It's like the NXT UK title is really nice, but I didn't think they needed to do a white strap version of that, although that looks great. But
Yeah, it
like
was a
the
cool
North
belt.
American title is great, but you don't need a women's version of that. Like, you know
No.
what I mean? So I'm really annoyed that they're gonna do that. And then like I hate the only reason I like the brand names in the women's championships is because like it's a logical distinction from those. Because the rumors is that Asuka has the WWE Women's Championship,
Mhm.
which sounds fine. There's only one title, but then Ripley has the World Women's Championship.
Mhm.
So are you saying that Asuka's isn't a world championship?
Just local,
you know what I mean?
regional.
Like you know what I mean? It sounds
Yeah.
weird. Like at least even when they had the women's championship and the Divas championship, at least they're kind of like it just doesn't work for me. So like the whole thing is a mess. Honestly, just wish they had like a unification match and this was the undisputed women's championship because that would work a whole lot better for me.
Mhm.
Because like the women's division A, I think can only really I don't think it can really sustain 2 titles at this point.
Probably not.
And just like at least with credible challengers, and I don't want like more copy and paste belts. Like
Yeah.
it's so annoying. And what now we're gonna have like we're gonna redo the undisputed tag titles and have like a gold strap or gold place or something like that.
They'll look just like the other ones.
Like they're gonna do these belts,
Back
but
to the well.
it'll be like the WWE title, but it'll say tag team champion along
Exactly.
the little bit at the bottom. Like I can't with this sometimes. It's just like
Not a lot of variety.
it's honestly it didn't annoy me as it didn't annoy me as much as it does now. It didn't used to, but now just like looking at all the belts that they have that are the same and just like the stupid like the undisputed crap, like it doesn't make sense and it's annoying. And so yeah, and also I guess a Resthold on the same segment is Charlotte's back
Right.
and she's
I
gonna
saw that.
challenge for the title again. Oh, you're gonna give her another different belt.
Of course.
Woo! She's held like pretty much every belt. She's held the first NXT Women's title. She's held the old NXT Women's title that before the 2.0. She's held the Women's Tag titles, Raw SmackDown belt, Divas title. Like now you're gonna give her the gold one.
They
Like,
will.
You're gonna give her Ripley's belt again. Like
All the belts.
I don't know. It's dumb. I hate these new belts. I love Rollins' belt, which is why that's the one I want to get. But I don't like Roman's belt and I don't like Asuka's belt, and I think it's all dumb.
That is quite a belt rant.
Yeah, I hate it. It's so dumb, and this is dumb. Just the undisputed thing really irks me because she's not.
No, she's not. Definitely not.
Like,
No.
She didn't even get a unification match. It's just
Unless they plan on unifying them and keeping that one.
right, but then
I don't know.
Then I
wait to reveal it
exactly like
until it is
at
undisputed.
this point the only truthful undisputed championship is Owens and Zayn. That's
Right.
the only real undisputed ones.
Yep.
That's literally it. And then watch them reveal new tag titles. I
Mhm.
swear to God, they're gonna do it just to spite me. We're gonna have a new set of tag team titles, and I'm
Could
just gonna
be.
I'm just gonna die. I just I can't with this. It's so this feels like such a Vince thing to do. I don't understand. I don't.
Brand.
I
It's
don't,
all on brand. The same belt over and
I
over
don't-
again.
I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
It does not.
I hate it.
I think we'll end on your belt rant
Yeah.
there. Seems like a logical place to wrap things up.
Yeah.
So,
I believe so.
thanks for joining us. Anytime you spend listening to us talk about wrestling is really, really honestly appreciated. You can contact us, fnswrestling@gmail.com. Leave a comment on YouTube if you're one of the few listening there. Instagram, FNS_wrestling_podcast. That'll go to Jack. I promise you a reply pretty much on whatever
I promise you a reply.
medium you like to contact us. We'd love to hear from you. So thanks so much for joining us. We will definitely be back here next Saturday for episode 152. And until then, everybody, take care.